Here's a message from Tim Grandstaff of Allstate Insurance in Plainfield. As a personal financial representative in Plainfield, I know many local families. My knowledge and understanding of the people in this community help me provide customers with an outstanding level of service. I look forward to helping families like yours protect the things that are important, your family, home, car, and more. I can also help you prepare a strategy to achieve your financial goals. That's Allstate Insurance in Plainfield at 1911 Crown Plaza Boulevard. Give them a call at 317-839-1500. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction is engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Impact Insurance Restoration is your hometown restoration company for all of your fire, flood, wind, and hail damage needs. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're located at 2340 East Perry Road in Plainfield and can be reached at 268-6375. Come visit Blue River Pharmacy, the local independent pharmacy in Hendricks County. When you choose Blue River Pharmacy as your partner in health and wellness, you will enjoy all of the traditional services of a chain pharmacy, plus so much more. Blue River Pharmacy takes time to truly care for and listen to learn our patients' needs. We accept most insurance plans and offer competitive pricing. Whether you need a prescription filled quickly, medical equipment, unique over-the-counter items, or medication management options, Blue River Pharmacy is your local friendly choice. And we offer free delivery. Stop by our Brownsburg location at 680 East 56th Street in the shops at Brownsburg today and choose Blue River Pharmacy.
Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg has something for everybody, and you don't even have to leave home. Call 286-3500 for free delivery to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Specialty pizzas, calzones, breadsticks, and cheese bread, all made in-house with Panuni's own hand-tossed dough. Not to mention Panuni's jumbo wings. Just tell them you heard about it from XRB and get 10% off of your order. Check out their Facebook page for specials. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday until 11 p.m. Locally owned Panuni's Pizza and Wings on 1447 East Main Street in Brownsburg. Changes Home Care is a proud sponsor of Avon High School football broadcast. Changes Home Care assists the elderly in staying independent in the comfort of their own home as long as possible. They assist individuals with bathing, dressing, transportation, medication reminders, light housekeeping, companionship, and much more. Their office is on Shiloh Professional Drive in Avon. Changes Home Care serves Hendricks and Marion County as well as all of the surrounding counties. Their services are available 24/7, 365 days a year. For a consultation appointment, call area code 317-271-3800. That's area code 317-271-3800. Changes Home Care in Avon.
It's time for the Mark Bless Show on Audio Sports Online. The Mark Bless Show is brought to you by Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Florist, Red Cobra Wrestling, Citywide Paving, Changes Home Care, and Avon Dental Care. Now it's time to talk to the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. It is the opening of the 2015 IHSAA football season and week 1 of the Mark Bless Show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mark Bless Show. I'm your host, Brian Scott. We will be talking with the head football coach of the Avon Orioles in just a little bit. The Orioles are coming off of an 8-3 campaign last year. Only 3 losses, and 2 of those came at the hands of the eventual defending 6A state champion Ben Davis Giants. The Orioles will open up this season with a lot of expectations. Back are some very key components on both the offensive and defensive sides of the football. And when we come back after these messages, we'll talk to the head football coach of the Avon Orioles, Mark Bless, about what he expects to see this upcoming football season. This is the Mark Bless Show on ASO. Reynolds Body Shop is a proud sponsor of Avon football broadcast.
They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Their phone is 317-243-2372, and they are open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com.
Avon Dental Center is a proud sponsor of Avon High School sports broadcast. Dr. Timothy Greer and Dr. Christopher Lefebvre have served Hendricks County families for over 20 years. Located in Avon's Beechwood Center area just east of Ivy Tech, they're open Monday through Friday, although early morning hours are available. Avon Dental Center offers high-tech dentistry that includes dental implants, orthodontics, and one-appointment crowns. At Avon Dental Center, their priority is to deliver quality care to informed patients in a comfortable and convenient setting. You can get more information at avondentalcenter.com or call for an appointment at 272-8100. Avon Dental Center.
We'd like to thank Citywide Paving for their support of Avon football and our Avon football broadcast this year. Welcome back to the Mark Bless Show on Audio Sports Online. It's my pleasure to bring in the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. Coach, welcome to 2015.
Yes, thanks, Brian. It's about time that football season for 2015 gets started.
And it should be what I think a lot of us expect, a very, very exciting year for the Avon Orioles this football season. We have a lot we want to talk about for the opening Mark Bless Show this season, but we're going to take just one quick look at last year. The Orioles finished with a record of 8-3. You are the outright Hoosier Crossroads Conference champs. Let's go back just a little bit to last October, a very, very tough game at Noblesville. You knew going into that game your team, if you win it, you share the conference title, and you're really looking at Zionsville and Fishers hoping that some magic would happen that night, and it did. How did that finally end up? You knew after the end of the Noblesville game that you were co-champions, but how were you with the team telling them you are the outright champions?
Well, first of all, it's always difficult to play at Noblesville. So, we kind of went into that game as a coaching staff pretty apprehensive that our guys weren't looking beyond that game. And we were in a little bit of a dogfight that night, and we played well enough to get the share of the conference. And then when we found out later that Zionsville, who we had just played the week before, was able to knock off Fishers. I think all of our players were very elated with that news. Probably a little surprised at the time. But we welcomed that 100% at that time.
And it's the first if I'm not mistaken, it was the first outright conference championship really for Avon since the HCC was inception.
I believe that is accurate, yes. So
the Orioles finished 8-3. You take a look at the 3 losses. 2 of them ended up being to what turned out to be the Class 6A state champion in Ben Davis. So some might say you look at that and you say, yeah, we knew Ben Davis was a pretty good team. Your one in-season loss was to Brownsburg. You made up for that in the sectional. So a very, very positive 2014 season. And now we move into 2015, and we're going to talk a little bit about your squad this year, both defensively and offensively. But first off, tell us, how was your off-season workouts? How has your preseason training gone?
Well, starting all the way from back winter, we got back in the weight room very quickly after the season ended because our players wanted in the weight room. They didn't want to take time off and kind of recover a little bit. They wanted to get right back at it. And at that time, Coach Blue, our strength coach at the time, really did a great job of developing us strength-wise. We have a lot of JV players from last year who were able to put on size and strength that are factors this year. And, our hats go off to Dave Blue. He just did a tremendous job. Unfortunately, over the summer, Dave had an opportunity coming around to go down to Florida to be a strength coach at the IMG Academy. So, it was with heavy hearts that we lost Coach Blue. In the meantime, we have hired a new strength coach in Damian Smith, a former Avon grad who played football and was a track and field athlete, and he has quickly come aboard after moratorium week and kind of revived our strength program from what Coach Blue had done. And so, coming off the summer, we kind of, had to have a little adjustment period with the players, getting used to some different philosophies. But all in all, our players have handled it well because it's a tough transition to go through as a young man and maybe not understanding the opportunities of life when Coach Blue left. But certainly that we've had a great summer, great off season, and really look forward to the start of the season next Friday.
You had your scrimmage last Friday. I happened to be there as you scrimmaged against Bloomington North, a pure offensive and defensive scrimmage. Let's take a look at your defensive squad as we get ready for week one here against Plainfield. And this is a defense that you lost some very, very talented players like Joe Belden, Rashawn Brent, Gabe Laxton's. You had David Griffith, all very talented players on that defense. Of course, Joe Belden, he's going to play for Kevin Wilson down at Indiana for the Hoosiers. But you also have a defensive team that's got a lot of players that got a lot of snaps last year, and two of your really high-impact players return as seniors this year, and outside linebacker Matt Thompson and defensive end A.J. Elcock.
That's right. We did lose some very quality players and quality people from last year's defense. And I think probably our eye-opener was probably our first day back in the weight room over the winter. Where all of our leaders from the defensive unit go. And I think that was a good eye-opener for some underclassmen to see an opportunity for them to be able to step up. And as I mentioned, we had several players develop over the off season that have put themselves in a position to be able to contribute defensively. But we're very pleased to have Matt Thompson back. Matt brings a lot of experience and leadership on the defense, a good toughness attitude, as well as A.J. Elcock, who led our team in sacks last year and just is a playmaker coming off the edge, probably undersized to play that position, but again, another mentally tough young man that plays with a lot of enthusiasm to it.
One of the players that I'm sure has just been busting his chops to get back out onto the field. Spent most of last year hurt. Brody Good, he was injured early. He came back for one game. I don't even think he lasted the half. And then he suffered another injury that put him out for the season. But he's going to be your other outside linebacker to start the season.
Yeah, you're right, Brian. It was a difficult loss for Brody. He actually sustained some ACL fragment tears in the scrimmage last year when we went over to Bloomington North. Did the MRI, did the testing on it, said that, if his parents were okay with it and he was okay with it, they could brace it and see what he could get out of it. So he sat out the first game and then returned the second game against Ben Davis. And unfortunately, like you said, did not complete the game, tore the rest of the ACL, probably late second quarter. And that was very difficult for a young man that works his tail off year-round to be what he is. The good news for Brody, he had a great off-season, rehabbing, recovering, getting bigger, faster, stronger. He has looked very solid. His return to form without any apprehensiveness of an injury this year. So we really look forward to seeing Brody back out on the field.
One of your players that we watched last season as a sophomore, Brian Fitzgerald, you, as a coach, I'm sure you look for improvement in your team each and every week. You look for improvement in players each and every week. But as Bryant went through the season, his leaps each week almost seemed exponential. But by the time the end of the season came, he was really playing great football. Now that David Griffith has graduated, David was always one of those guys that wherever the football was, that's where David was. And we're now seeing Brian Fitzgerald. He looked already like he could be in that same mold, that wherever the football is, that's where Bryant's going to be.
That is true. He made some impact plays for us last year as a sophomore, kind of growing through our defense. And at the end of the season, it was really fun to watch. And you can see his development weekly. This year he's another guy that had a great off season. He is very valuable to us defensively, being a kind of a strong safety that can walk down and play some outside linebacker, be able to cover, somebody that is a speed guy at the slot position. So we really think he's versatile. He's probably one of our better running backs in our program, but because of what he does for us defensively, we got to make sure that we keep him healthy and rested for defense. But very dynamic. He actually received a verbal offer from IU a couple weeks ago, and I think they're right on the target with him because I think he can go down and definitely play at that level.
You've got quite a few players that maybe didn't play a ton of varsity snaps, but all of them got quite a few varsity minutes when we take a look at Ian Pendleton, Lance Meyer, Scott Campbell. But one of the guys that was a key player didn't get a whole lot of snaps on the defensive side, yet he was critical to the offense. But this year it looks like Andrew Griffin is once again going to be much more of a two-way player.
Yeah. And as a sophomore, when Andrew came into the program, we actually knew what he was capable of offensively, but we needed some help in the secondary early in that year. And we made the commitment to let him be a defensive back to learn how the skills to play that position, and left him on that side of the ball until about mid-season as a sophomore. And then as a sophomore, basically played time and a half. And then last year, because we had a little more experience returning defensively, we let him focus more at the receiver position. And I think it's really helped set him up this year to be able to contribute on both sides of the ball. But, yeah, phenomenal kid, highly intelligent, highly motivated, and just can do a lot of things for us.
We're talking with the head football coach of the Avon Orioles, Mark Bless. This is the Mark Bless Show on Audio Sports Online. Let's move over to the offensive side of the ball. And, of course, a lot of excitement that came to the program in the spring. Senior quarterback Brandon Peters made his announcement he's going to play for a very prestigious university at the University of Michigan for a rather high-profile coach, and Coach Jim Harbaugh. As a coach, when you've had plenty of players that have played for top-level college programs, some even go pro, but it's probably a little bit different when you've got a quarterback the stature of Brandon playing for a university like Michigan, for a coach like Coach Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh, he's coached Andrew Luck, now with the Indianapolis Colts, formerly of the Stanford Cardinals. Coach Harbaugh has been to a Super Bowl with a dynamic quarterback like Colin Kaepernick, and yet he's giving you a call, say, I want your quarterback, Coach.
Yeah, and that is impressive. And Brandon's kind of earned his way there by being productive for us as a sophomore, as well as, better junior year. And, in doing the things necessary to be a good, solid quarterback. And, when the recruiting process opened up this winter, Brandon had collected some offers last year at this time, but he just kind of exploded on the scene this winter and really had some opportunities in front of him to go to college campuses on unofficial visits. But it seemed like once he got up to Michigan and met Coach Harbaugh, he was solid, he was set, he knew where he wanted to go, and they were very pleased to have an athlete like Brandon play quarterback for us.
Brandon last year threw for over 1,800 yards, 21 TDs, 6 interceptions, which oddly enough, that really matched his sophomore numbers. The touchdowns are always impressive, but again, one of the things I think makes Brandon so special, all you have to do is look at that INT column to know he's a very, very smart football player when he's throwing the ball.
Well, I agree with that. I think when you look at touchdown to interception ratio, you definitely want to be on the big plus side on that as a quarterback. But I'd say a hitting stat that made Brandon so good early was that he's able to extend plays. The pocket's breaking down or the blitz is coming. Brandon seals it. He doesn't have to see it. His eyes are still downfield. and he can move in the pocket, scramble from the pocket, tuck the ball and be able to run and make plays. But I think that's definitely a hidden stat that goes unnoticed of what he's capable of doing when he's getting pressure. He can make plays on the run.
Of course, Brandon is not alone as your one of your big skill position players coming back. We mentioned Andrew on the defensive side of the ball, but last year especially as the season progressed, you always have these quarterback-receiver combinations that it's just a look, it's just something that they are on the same page, and more often than not last year, we really saw that connection between Brandon and Andrew.
Well, and that's good. They grew up playing together. They've got a great rapport between each other. They're good friends. And, it certainly doesn't hurt that Brandon has a great amount of confidence in Andrew, in running the right route, getting separation, and making the catch. But, yes, and Andrew this summer as well, while we're mentioning players and colleges, he has verbal to play at Princeton in the Ivy League next year. So that's pretty neat for Andrew as well.
Of course, another returning skill position player and a guy that sometimes might go a little bit unnoticed to everybody but a defensive coordinator for the team you're playing against is your very talented senior tight end, Matt Moore. He comes in this week. I watched the scrimmage last week. I think he had 6 targets, maybe 7, caught every ball, including a very impressive catch at the goal line that Brandon put right where it needed to be, down low. Got Matt got between the defensive player and the football, made an outstanding catch, and just the kind of hands that in some ways you really just can't coach.
Well, that's true. And Matt's such a great young man. Matt was offered a baseball scholarship from Purdue after his freshman year of baseball. So we're talking about a guy who really didn't even need to be playing football, but because his passion was so strong, and he really enjoys being around his buddies in the football team, that he decided to keep playing, and we were very thankful as a coaching staff that he did make that decision to continue playing both sports. Just super when it comes to wanting to learn about the game of football. He comes in, he's a player during the season that will come in at 6:00 in the morning to watch film with our offensive line coach, Coach Johnson, just so he can learn more about what he needs to know to be a really good tight end. And I think he is. He cares about the team. He cares about his success. But above all, I think he wants to make sure he does his part.
The other skill position that you've got, at least somebody coming back with some experience, will be at tailback. Darian Love, he got some good carries last year when senior tailback last season Derek Tennant was out with an injury. Darian kind of came into his own, I think, in that Whiteland game, and at times he showed some very explosive abilities. This year, probably maybe the one thing that I've noticed with the Oriole football team this year, you've always had a pretty good-sized tailback. This year, not so much. You'll have Darian Love, Corey DePriest. I know in the past you've used Zach Batustik as a fullback, but this year, with the tailbacks being a little smaller than you've had in the past few years, looks like you're going to rely on a little bit more explosiveness and getting those holes open by the offensive line.
Yeah, and you're right. Darian really came on the scene last year, and we really didn't know what he was capable of doing. So it's a big tribute to him that he was able to step in time of need and really be able to produce for us. That gained so much confidence going into this year. I believe he was right around 700 yards rushing last year, and that was a fill-in time due to injury as well as a part-time basis, sharing some duties with Derek. So we're real pleased with the progress he made last year during the course of the season, and I know he's looking forward to the start of this season because, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but he's had a very successful off season. And, when that happens, you just want to see the players have great success because of all the work they put into it.
Over the past few years, this offense has been primarily an I-back, two-back set. At times you've gone single-back. This year, last week when I got the two deeps, I've noticed we're going to see probably a lot more three-wide, maybe even sometimes four-wide as you've got a couple of they're seniors, but they haven't had a lot of playing time. We've seen Harrison Weber, Jordan Peterson, Drew Pankey-Wallace got a nice catch last week. Also saw Chad Carmichael. So we're going to see maybe a lot more rotations, it looks like, of wide receivers this season.
Well, certainly due to what we've evolved in with our offense, due to our personnel being pretty sharp in the passing game, we want to be able to make sure that as a coaching staff, we were flexible to play to our strengths. And, we're aligned in more of a passing type of offense to do the things that we can do and try to, exploit some things in those regards. So you're probably not going to see a whole lot of a two-back set. But we feel so confident and comfortable in what we do, what we're doing now, that it was well worth the move. We still expect a lot from our run game. We expect a lot from our offensive line, allowing us to be able to run the ball or protection-wise throwing the ball. And our offensive linemen take a lot of pride in the work they do.
We look at the offensive line, and you've got some new faces on there. You've been listening to the Mark Blash Show on Audio Sports Online. Tonight's show has been brought to you by Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Florist, Red Cobra Wrestling, Citywide Paving, Changes Home Care, and Avon Dental Care. Tune in next week when we once again talk to the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. The Mark Bless Show is an AudioSportsOnline.com production. Beefcake Burgers is located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield. At Beefcakes, we can build your burger to eliminate your hunger. Come join us and maybe even get in a round of cornhole. That's Beefcake Burgers, located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield.
Changes Home Care is a proud sponsor of Avon High School football broadcast. Changes Home Care assists the elderly in staying independent in the comfort of their own home as long as possible. They assist individuals with bathing, dressing, transportation, medication reminders, light housekeeping, companionship, and much more. Their office is on Shiloh Professional Drive in Avon. Changes Home Care serves Hendricks and Marion County as well as all of the surrounding counties. Their services are available 24/7, 365 days a year. For a consultation appointment, call area code 317-271-3800. That's area code 317-271-3800. Changes Home Care in Avon.
McNamara Florist is Indy's hometown florist since 1954, with 8 convenient locations, including the new Avon store on Rockville Road. McNamara Florist is famous for our floral designs for all occasions that help our clients express their emotions through flowers. Visit McNamara.
It's time for the Mark Bless Show. We'd like to thank Citywide Paving for their support of Avon football and our Avon football broadcast this year.
Avon Dental Center is a proud sponsor of Avon High School sports broadcast. Dr. Timothy.
It's time for the Mark Bless Show on Audio Sports. He had some good carries.
A lot of time playing football. They do some traveling with the USA team out of Indiana. So they are used to higher caliber of competition. And like I said, they're both good football boys. So we really like what they bring to the table. And every week we certainly see development now of those two.
And, of course, the final part of the team, let's take a quick look at is special teams. This year, Alex Steffen, of course, graduated last year. Sam Perino comes in as a junior. He saw some action last year. This year, he will be your full-time kicker, and right now he's listed to basically handle all kicking duties.
Yeah, last year Sam wound up taking over our kickoff duty last year, so he got some valuable varsity game time in. He kind of has been hampered by a little bit of an off-season hip issue that started to develop, so we got to be cautious with him. Sam, as well, is also playing soccer. We have a couple other kickers out from the soccer team, so we're kind of seeing where our best route is. But right now, certainly is Sam Perino. for all of our kicking duties. We'll probably look at Brandon Peters a little bit as a backup role in the punter position, which also adds another dimension back there that opponents need to worry about when he's punting. But we really like where Sam's at, and I think he'll continue to progress.
Of course, you have a couple of exciting guys that could be in the kick return game. Brian Fitzgerald is going to be slated as being one of your kickoff specialists along with Corey DePriest. And then as a punt returner, Andrew Griffin, he could provide some excitement back there in the punt return game.
Yeah, and you know, in those positions, we also have Jordan Peterson helping out with punt return, probably Ian Pendleton a little more with kick return, punt return. But, you know, we definitely want to put some tools back there and try to make some impact plays with our playmakers.
That is your 2015 quick look at the Avon Orioles. When we return, we're going to take a quick look at this upcoming season, and Week 1's opponent are the Plainfield Quakers as they head into Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. This is the Mark Bless Show on Audio Sports Online.
Avon has a rich wrestling tradition, and now Red Cobra Wrestling is proud to be a part of it. Opening last November, Red Cobra Wrestling offers training sessions run by nationally known coach Chad Red. Red Cobra Wrestling is located at 9233 East Highway 36 in Avon, across the street from Walmart and behind sidelines in the Red Brick Building. Red Cobra Wrestling offers sessions for all ages, including 3rd grade and under and 4th grade and up. Learn more about prices, class schedules, and information at RedCobraWrestlingAcademy.com.
Changes Home Care is a proud sponsor of Avon High School football broadcast. Changes Home Care assists the elderly in staying independent in the comfort of their own home as long as possible. They assist individuals with bathing, dressing, transportation, medication reminders, light housekeeping, companionship, and much more. Their office is on Shiloh Professional Drive in Avon. Changes Home Care serves Hendricks and Marion County as well as all of the surrounding counties. Their services are available 24/7, 365 days a year. For a consultation appointment, call area code 317-271-3800. That's area code 317-271-3800. Changes Home Care in Avon.
McNamara Florist is Indy's hometown florist since 1954, with 8 convenient locations, including the new Avon store on Rockville Road. McNamara Florist is famous for our floral designs for all occasions that help our clients express their emotions through flowers. Visit McNamara Florist for outstanding personal service and to select from the renowned home decor merchandising, including stunning Christmas classics. McNamara Florist is located at 9655 East Highway 36 in Avon, and you can give them a call at 579-7900.
Welcome back to the Mark Bless Show on Audio Sports Online as we talk with the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. All right, the 2015 season begins this week, and you'll do so with an opponent that the Orioles haven't seen in over a decade. Last year, we watched Avon since the Hoosier Crossroads Conference had contracted from 10 to 7. You got some out-of-conference games. Last year, of course, the season opened up you couldn't do it in a much more exciting fashion than winning come-from-behind fashion against Lawrence Central at Lucas Oil Stadium. You added Ben Davis to the schedule, which we'll see a return matchup next week. We'll talk about that game next week. And you added Whiteland, which was a nice game, always a Class 5A powerhouse in the Mid-State Conference. This year, Whiteland will come to Hendricks Regional Health, but you add Plainfield. Maybe in terms of closeness, you're probably fairly familiar with some of their kids, but unlike Brownsburg, who you see each and every year, you don't quite get to see Coach Woodard's Quakers all that often.
No, that's true. That's true. Not since my days coaching at Mooresville when we used to face each other every year. But, Plainfield's a very solid program, has a rich tradition of football. Probably the rival of Avon and Plainfield was very strong, probably not as strong as the Avon-Brownsburg game. But, from the history lessons, that certainly everybody wants to win that game because of how close you live to each other. We have a lot of respect for Coach Woodard and the work that him and his staff does preparing their players. And like I said, they're always fundamentally sound. So we know that we know what's in store for us a little bit.
We'll take just a brief look at this season. I don't want to spend too much time on because we're going to of course preview each and every week. But when you look at your schedule this year, of course, now you got to face the defending 6A state champion Ben Davis Giants this week. I think none of us really expect that Coach May's Hamilton Southeastern Royals are going to be quite like they were last year. We saw how good Zionsville got as the season progressed. Some might have said the HCC was a little down last year, but I think all bets are off this year that when you look up and down this conference, it's going to be a pretty tough conference.
Oh, absolutely. HSC is always strong. Last year they took a few lumps. I'm sure that Coach May's got them regrouped and ready to go. And you always look at Fishers as being a dominating team that has a state championship under their belt. You can't overlook Westfield. They've played in a state championship game within the last 3 years. You're right. And, Noblesville, Coach Schott is making great strides there. So absolutely. And HCC, every game's a difficult game, whether it's home or road.
Well, let's take a look at this week's opponent, the Plainfield Quakers. Again, Coach Brian Woodard, the Quakers, if you take a look at them last season, they are the prototypical team that you want to, or I shouldn't say prototypical, they are the example that you tell every player, no matter what you did during the regular season, come playoff time, everything starts fresh. They didn't have maybe the greatest regular season, but they got into the tournament. They defeated Danville in their sectional opener, and then they pulled off the shocker, winning at Northview to actually advance to the sectional championship game, and gave Ron Colley pretty much all they could handle before finally bowing out. So this is a team in Plainfield that they played a lot of young players last year, but a lot of those young players are now 1 year older, and it starts with their quarterback, Colin Nicewander.
Well, that's true. Last year I think Coach Woodard team suffered some injuries, some setbacks to some key players. And, that's always difficult when that happens. But on the bright side, when you get those players back, you've developed more depth. You've found some other players that can contribute wherever it may be. And then by the time you get tournament time, if you've remained healthy, and you gain a little confidence when you get a few of those players back, then you can get on a pretty good roll. And certainly they did. And, we've watched some game film from last year, and I was very impressed with how well they played Ron Colley in the sectional championship game.
Plainfield's going to have a couple of running backs in Dylan Foster, and probably their primary offensive threat has been Jake Maple, though he was injured for a good part of last year, but he came on final game of the season, and he played very well. He's a bit of a dynamic player. He runs the ball well. He can catch the ball very well, and he's just going to be one of those guys that you're really going to have to be aware of wherever he lines up.
That is true. And we want to know where he lines up. Matter of fact, we'll try to communicate it all night long. But very impressed with both running backs. They both run with a good forward lean, and certainly that's kind of their offensive desires, are to be able to run the ball and set up the pass when they want to pass, as long as, defenses are adjusting to stop their run, kind of how we made a living for a lot of years. So we certainly understand what they want to do. It's a matter of trying to take away what they want to do. And, I think we got our hands full in doing that.
And one of the things that defensively you'll have to keep your eye on is they've got a very talented player up front in Bryce Biddle.
Yeah, certainly. Very talented young man, he's only a junior and has 2 years of varsity experience under his belt. Good, solid body, very good wrestler. And when you're a defensive lineman and a wrestler, you're probably good in both, because you know how to body leverage people, and he's got a good motor on him. You watch plays, and he's making tackles down the field, not just at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. And that's because of his pursuit and his hustle.
Well, it all begins Friday night as the Quakers from Plainfield come to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. Get to open up in front of the home crowd. It will be a fantastic crowd. It's already looking like it might be a fantastic night, and we wish you and the Orioles best of luck to begin the 2015 season.
Well, very good, and thank you for continuing the talk show.
All right, that is the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. You can listen to him each and every week right here on Audio Sports Online, and before every Avon Oriole football game on game nights, as he'll be the Mark Bless Show becomes part of the pregame show each and every week here on Audio Sports Online. Coach, we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Mark Bless Show on Audio Sports Online. Tonight's show has been brought to you by Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Florist, Red Cobra Wrestling, Citywide Paving, Changes Home Care, and Avon Dental Care. Tune in next week when we once again talk to the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. The Mark Bless Show is an AudioSportsOnline.com production. Beefcake Burgers is located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield. At Beefcakes, we can build your burger to eliminate your hunger. Come join us and maybe even get in a round of cornhole. That's Beefcake Burgers, located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield.
Changes Home Care is a proud sponsor of Avon High School football broadcast. Changes Home Care assists the elderly in staying independent in the comfort of their own home as long as possible. They assist individuals with bathing, dressing, transportation, medication reminders, light housekeeping, companionship, and much more. Their office is on Shiloh Professional Drive in Avon. Changes Home Care serves Hendricks and Marion County as well as all of the surrounding counties. Their services are available 24/7, 365 days a year. For a consultation appointment, call area code 317-271-3800. That's area code 317-271-3800.
County, as we bring you high school football on ASO and XRBradio.com. Tonight's game is brought to you by Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Florist, Red Cobra Wrestling, Citywide Paving, Changes Home Care, Avon Dental Care, Westside Plumbing, Blue River Pharmacy, Ivy Tech, Northfield Storage and U-Haul, Panuni's Pizza and Wings, the Payroll Department, Wicker Construction, Impact Insurance Restoration, Plainfield Animal Clinic, Beefcake Burgers, Allstate Insurance Agent Tim Grandstaff, Fusion Alliance, Allegiant, and Plainfield Self-Storage. Game night in Hendricks County is an AudioSportsOnline.com production. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium at Avon High School, where the 2015 IHSAA football season will kick off tonight. And it's a matchup of a pair of teams that haven't met each other in now 11 years. This used to be pretty much a regular meeting back in the day. But when the Hoosier Crossroads Conference expanded to 10 teams and all the HCC teams lost their non-conference schedule, this game went away. It's back now as the Plainfield Quakers have come to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium to take on the 6th ranked in Class 6A Avon Orioles. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to game night in Hendricks County. My name's Brian Scott. I am going to be joined shortly by the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne and J.P. Sinclair. Both these teams came off of a little bit different seasons last year. Of course, the Avon Orioles, they finished with a record of 8-3. Of their 3 losses, 2 of them came to defending the current 6A state champion Ben Davis Giants. Their only other loss was a conference loss to the Brownsburg Bulldogs. The Orioles are the outright HCC champions as they enter this season of play, and they still think they've got something to prove, and they want to start with this game tonight. The Plainfield Quakers, as you might have heard in our pregame, they are the example of a team that did not have a very good regular season at all. They went 2-7, but you start the tournament, you start with a fresh schedule, and the Quakers under head coach Brian Woodard, they got their second win over Danville during the season last year in their sectional opener, and then they pulled off a rather big upset. They went on the road to beat Northview 28-13 before finally falling in the sectional championship game to Indianapolis-Roncalli, 24-17. For the Plainfield Quakers, they are a team that had a lot of young players last season. They're going to be led by their quarterback, Colin Nicewander. And I'm going to start with J.P. Sinclair, who will be the voice of the Plainfield Quakers come after this game. And, J.P., you saw a lot of this team last year. It was a very young team. They had a lot of injuries. And I think even Coach Bless said it's a team that kind of had to take their bumps last year, and they look to see if they're going to be improved to start this year, especially at quarterback under junior Colin Nicewander.
Well, Brian, you hit it right on the head of the
Well, we'll have to sit here and have a little bit of a technical issue, evidently, with JP's mic. We'll try that, but right now I'll then turn my attention over here to Dave Shelbourne. Coach, we talked about, and you're not getting anything either.
I don't think I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine,
all
there,
right, good.
Coach. So we were talking about Plainfield coming into this game. As a coach, you've watched these. You've had teams that didn't have the greatest of season, but you always told them, come playoff time, that now you can show what you've got.
Well, I mean, it's absolutely a new season, and I have the world of respect for Coach Woodard. I think he does a great job. I think this game, it may turn out to be a little bit more interesting than an outside observer would think, because you've got a real contrast in styles. Avon offensively obviously has got big-time weapons with Brandon Peters, a Michigan recruited quarterback, and Andrew Griffin, and Darian Love that can hit a home run anytime he touches the ball, and Matt Moore, who I think might be the best tight end in the state of Indiana. And they have big play capabilities all the time. And Plainfield style is totally different in that they're a little bit more of a ball control. They're going to want to run some time off the clock. They'll pass, but mostly play action. Defensively, you're going to see Avon just kind of pin their ears back and come. They blitz a lot. They like to get after you. They'll play some man coverage in the secondary, and they play in a very aggressive, try to get turnovers, try to get you for losses on defense. And Plainfield, by contrast, from what I saw a little bit last week and just past history, they're going to sit back in zone. They're not going to give up big plays. They're going to try to keep everything in front of you. They don't blitz a lot. You'll see some 3, maybe 4-man rush, and they're going to be content. Especially in the first game of the year, I think it's good philosophy, because what they're attempting to do is make Avon make plays. And early in the season, it's tough sometimes to get your offense to gel, but Avon's going to have to be patient on offense, nickel and dime, take what they can get. And, and again, I think Plainfield's going to do everything they can to cut the time down, because they don't have the athletes that Avon does.
All right, we're going to check back over here with J.P. Sinclair. And, J.P., we were talking about Colin Nicewander, the sophomore last year, had to learn on the job. Now he's going to come in as a junior. What are the types of keys you hope to see him have improved on from last season?
Well, he's got to be able to throw the deep ball. That's his biggest thing, is he didn't have a long arm. It's a really short intermediate game, using a lot of screen passes. And you said it, this was an injured, inexperienced team last year. One of the things that they hope to improve on from last season is, continuing on with that sectional record. You have a sectional record like that, you want to improve on it. And they got healthier towards the end of it. That's really the biggest thing, is they got Jacob Maple, who they lost early in the season. They got him back and was able to get him fitted into the game, particularly against Greenwood. And that's really what kind of got the ball rolling towards the end of the season for this Plainfield team, was getting Maple back into the flow of things. But Dylan Foster was another bright spot for this Quaker team last year. Was a walk-on in the middle of the season, but when he came on, he provided a big boost to this team.
Let's give you the particulars for tonight's game. First of all, for the Plainfield Quakers, the head coach is Brian Woodard. He is 58-42 in his 10th year at the helm of the Quakers. The head coach of the Orioles, Mark Bless, 40-18 in his 6th year at the helm of the Orioles, and a very impressive 189-85 in his 26th year overall. You look over the last 30 years, again, this game the game between these two teams hasn't been played in 11 years. Avon over the last 30 is 17-5, and that includes a 33-7 win back in 2004 opening day. And my gentleman to my right,
Coach Dave Shelbourne was the head coach of the Avon Orioles when they defeated the Quakers. Getting ready to kick things off. Sam Perino is going to kick things off for the Avon Orioles. The 6'1", 200-pound junior. Back deep for the Plainfield Quakers will be a 5'7", 185-pound sophomore Dawson Anderson and a 5'7", 170-pound senior Coy Anderson. The Orioles in black, the Quakers in white. We're ready for high school football. We hope you are too as we get ready for game night in Hendricks County. Perino will line it up over on the right hash. And as he runs up, he will put a foot into it, and this game is underway. And it'll be fielded in the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. And the Plainfield Quakers will start on offense, and leading them out will be 5'10", 165-pound senior Colin Nicewander. He is the quarterback. The offensive line will be Jacob Sprague, Connor Kennedy, Ethan Greiner, and Jacob Morris, along with Brady Adams. The tight end is Devin Spalding. The wideouts, Dante Keys and Dawson Anderson. The fullback is Cooper Nichols, and the tailback is Dylan Foster, and that is how the Quakers will line up to begin the game, though they will start actually in a four-wide look with Nicewander in the shotgun with Foster to his right. Three wideouts to the near side of the field. Nicewander waits on the snap, gets it, looks, fires left side, pass incomplete. He was looking over to the far side. I believe he was looking for Luke Middleton, well covered over on the far sideline, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, Elcott with good pressure here on the first play. Avon plays again. They play that very aggressive style. They're going to get after you, try to cause turnovers. Occasionally, because of that, they may give up a big play, but they're willing to live with it. They want to get after you, and they want to establish things early.
Be second down and 10 for the Quakers. Ball remains on the 20. Nicewander, quick hitch, finds a man open to the left side and rumbling up to near the first down marker, and it is complete as getting the football over there on the far side for enough for a first down. It's an 11-yard gain for Plainfield.
Good two opening plays here, I think, for Plainfield. I mentioned already a couple of times the style of play that Avon plays, and a couple of quick, short passes. That time they ran a little bubble screen. He caught the ball at the line of scrimmage and ran 10 yards for the first down.
So the first down belongs to the Plainfield Quakers. Now they'll go in an I-back set. They'll give it to Foster. He'll look for some room on the left-hand side. He will not find any as a whole host of black-clad Avon Orioles will bring him down, led by middle linebacker, 5'11", 210-pound senior Levi Hawk.
Yeah, this is a Plainfield team that really struggles with that offensive line experience we talked about a little bit in the pregame coaches show, and that's just something that's going to come into play. They got to be able to open up holes for guys like Maple and Foster.
It's a loss of 4 on the play, back to the 27-yard line. Bring up second down about 14, Play action. They'll give the ball to Foster. He didn't really have a whole lot of room, and in the end, he's going to be chased down from behind. Look like in there, Bryant Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald this year pretty much taking over the same type of role that we saw David Griffith take last year for the Avon Orioles. Just a player that's always going to be around the football all game long, and that time, good penetration by the Oriole defense to stuff it in the backfield. A little miscommunication between Nicewander and Dylan Foster, and that's going to bring up third down and long.
Yeah, Fitzgerald is a big-time athlete. He's already starting to get some Division I offers, and just a great kid and a big-time player.
So third down and 12, ball to 29. Nicewander back, pressure comes, and he goes down, and it was Brian Fitzgerald. He was the first one there, and then he had some help by Timmy Osho to bring Nicewander down back all the way at the 20-yard line, and it'll be fourth down.
Well, that's just a math game right there. Avon brought more people, and Plainfield had blockers. In a situation like that, you're going to have to get rid of the ball in a hurry, and when you're third and long, that really just played into Avon's hands.
Well, it's a new punter for the Plainfield Quakers, but a very familiar last name, John Hagee, back out there to punt. And JP, you were very familiar with his brother kicking for them for quite a few years.
Yeah, Morgan Hagee was an excellent kicker for this Plainfield team. Definitely brought a great special team dynamic. We'll see what John's capable of.
Here's a catch made. This is Brian Fitzgerald, eludes one, or excuse me, that is Corey DePriest. Corey DePriest ran up, made the catch, and he's going to bring it into Quaker territory at the 40-yard line. And it'll be first and 10, Avon in Quaker territory to begin their first drive of the football game. We'll give you a quick look at the Avon Oriole offense across the offensive line. Nick Shoemaker, Ben Wilson, Ryan Dickinson, and a pair of freshmen on the right side of the line, DJ Bowles and Addison Batten. The tight end is Matt Moore. Andrew Griffin is the flanker. The wideouts are Harrison Weber and Jordan Peterson. Darian Love is the tailback, and the 6'5", 210-pound senior commit to the Michigan Wolverines, Brandon Peters, will stand in the shotgun. He'll take the snap, fakes, fires over to the right side. There's Griffin at the 34. Griffin gets around his man, and he'll finally be driven out of bounds on that far right-hand side. Tackled by Josh Briscoe, but a big gain on the first play for the Orioles.
And a good opener. Play-action pass is always good, especially on first down. You know, I mentioned earlier that Plainfield likes to play their linebackers off and, you know, just rush with 3 or 4. And the play-action fake caused the linebackers to step up, which opens up the passing lanes. And, you know, when you got somebody like Brandon throwing to Griffin, it's tough to stop.
They will stack the wide receivers to the left and the right, 2 each, on this 1st and 10 from about the 21-yard line. Here's the give, Darian Love, and he will lose the football. Ball's on the ground, and they will say, we'll wait to see.
Avon recovered, according to the official on the far side.
Didn't really look like Darian really had a handle on that football, and it was indeed recovered, probably by Love himself, and then eventually it'll be a gain of about 2 on the play, inside the 20 down to the 19.
You know, we talked about my experience with Plainfield. You know, in Avon, I saw a lot of what Tennant had to offer this team last year. I'm really excited to see what Love can do with more carries this season.
One of the things about the Avon Orioles this year, they do not have the big back that they've had in the past few years, and as Coach Mark Bless said, with the progression of Brandon Peters, they're going to throw it more. Here it is, Andrew Griffin in the end zone, touchdown. 19-yard touchdown pass from Brandon Peters to Andrew Griffin, and just like that, the Orioles are out in front 6-0.
I'll tell you what, Andrew Luck couldn't have thrown a ball better than that ball was just thrown. They got man coverage, ran a little fade route. The DB really was not in too bad a shape. It's a little bit of a mismatch because Andrew's a great athlete, but, you know, that ball was just perfectly thrown. Great protection, great throw, nice opening drive for Avon.
Samperino on to attempt the extra point. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up. And with 8:31 left to go in the opening quarter, the Avon Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers 7-0. Back after these messages, this is Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com.
Beefcake Burgers is located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield. At Beefcakes, we can build your burger to eliminate your hunger. Come join us and maybe even get in a round of cornhole. That's Beefcake Burgers, located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield.
Welcome back to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium at Avon High School. Game night in Hendricks County. Alongside J.P. Sinclair and the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. Didn't take long for the Avon Orioles. Brandon Peters on a 19-yard strike to Andrew Griffin down the right side, and the Orioles lead 7-0. I was saying before that play that one of the things that Coach Bless and I talked about in our weekly coaches show is with the not quite as big backs that the Orioles have been used to having. They've got Darian Love, they've got Corey DePriest, but both a little on the small side. It really is Brandon Peters' excellence, especially in the passing game, that the Orioles want to take advantage of this year. So you're going to see a lot more single back sets, a lot more 3-wide looks, and right there the Orioles capitalize as Perino puts a foot into it. This one is going to be fielded at the 1-yard line, taken to the 10, to the 15. Penalty flag comes out from behind as it was Anderson with the return up to about the 21, but a penalty flag came in from behind. So this one looks like it might be moving back.
Yeah, not a good way to start with a penalty. I mean, they were only up to the 20. Now if they're back to the 10-yard line, that just plays into Avon's hands and makes the play calling a little bit difficult here for Plainfield.
So it will push it back as Dawson Anderson's return to the 21 is going to be pushed now back inside the 20. And the Quakers got one first down on their opening drive of the game, but then found themselves moving steadily backwards before having to punt. A good return by Corey DePriest set up the Orioles drive at the Quaker 40, and just a few plays later, Peters found Griffin for the touchdown. That's why we are at 7-0 with 8:26 left to go opening quarter. Quakers will send 3 wides to the near side as We will see Colin Nicewinder stay in the gun. He has Foster to his right. He'll give the handoff, and this is right up the middle as Dylan Foster will gain a few yards right up the gut to about let's call it the 13-yard line. We'll bring out 2nd and 7.
Yeah, trying to formation Avon here a little bit. You know, the 3 wides are just to draw some of the defenders out to give them an opportunity to try to run the football. But I think Plainfield's going to have a tough time running in between the tackles with as many people as Avon usually has in there, and the way they play, their reckless style.
Their leading wide receiver from last year is Dante Keys that is on the team. He is on the near side. They send a man in motion, and they will give it to him on the end around, and getting the ball and moving around the left-hand side for Plainfield was Dawson Anderson as they brought him in motion from the slot side. He'll pick up maybe about 4 yards and bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, nice little jet play there by Plainfield. Typically you see that more in another mid-state opponent, Whiteland, but it worked out pretty well there to bring up a short 3rd down.
Be 3rd down, about 2, ball spotted at the 18-yard line. So the Quakers will once again send 2 to the near side. Dante Keys is over here.
Matt Thompson with a tackle on the last play. His mom just informed me.
Thompson with the tackle. And it's a give to Foster. He'll go right up the middle. He'll be met, and this one's going to be close because Foster ran right up, found Levi Hawk standing in the hole. It's just a matter of whether forward progress is going to give the Quakers a 1st down.
It'll be close based on where the ref's standing. You know, you talked about this Plainfield team.
They gave it to him, so forward progress must have been enough.
This is a Plainfield team that, you know, ran the ball 70% of the time last year, so they don't have a much offensive over-the-air type game. So we'll see if Senior Nicewinder can try and get a little bit more passing going and get this offense a little bit more dynamic this year.
It is a 1st down for the Quakers at their own 20-yard line. 6:48 left to go first quarter. Orioles with a 7-0 lead. Nicewinder takes the snap, fires left side. Pass is complete and met as Anderson makes the catch, and he is drilled by Ian Pendleton, the 5'7", 165-pound junior corner. While we have a moment, let's set up the Oriole defense. They'll run that very familiar 3-3 stacked across the defensive front. Gunnar Larson, C.J. Hunt, and A.J. Alcock. The linebackers are Brody Good, Levi Hawk, and Matt Thompson. The corners, Ian Pendleton and Scott Campbell. And the safeties are Chad Carmichael, Lance Meyer, and Brian Fitzgerald. 2nd down and 8, ball spotted at the 22-yard line of Plainfield. Once again, they'll bring a man in motion over to the near side. And it's a play-action pass. Nice pass, nice catch. Gavin Ritter on the catch. He's brought down immediately, but a nice pitch and catch as they get Ritter running down the seam, and it's a 1st down for Plainfield.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm very impressed. They've come in prepared. They've mixed things up. Good preparation, a little play action, some quick passes, spreading them out a little bit and throwing the football. So I think somebody on Plainfield side has done a little homework, and they're mixing things up here pretty well right now.
3 wide outs on the near side for the Quakers is Nicewinder play action. He gives it to Foster on a little counter play. Foster gets some room. He will rumble up past the 40 and appears to have a Quaker 1st down on a nice little play action. They run the counter. They get a hole on the left side, and the Quakers get another 1st down.
Well, that looks like a play from my high school day. A little Statue of Liberty play there. Quarterback did the total reverse out, kind of faked me out a little bit. I thought it was
I thought it was a broken play at first. I'm like, oh, this ain't going to be – oh, wait, that works.
Yeah.
It is enough for a 1st down, and the Quakers have that 1st down at their own 42-yard line. They trail 7-0 with 5:38 left to go in the opening quarter from Hendricks Regional Health Stadium at Avon High School. They will now go to an I backfield. They bring a man in motion. Nicewinder under center. They'll give it to the tailback, and this is Dawson Anderson. He will gain a little room over that left side of the line, and he will pick up maybe about 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, I did see on the depth chart this week, too, and I just checked. I see they moved Gunnar Larson out to a defensive end. You know, Gunner's been downstate a couple of years here already as a wrestler. He's got, you know, good feet, protects himself really well, and he's been the middle guard here the last couple of years, but they moved him out to defensive end.
2 wide outs will come out to the near side, and that is Luke Middleton as your near wide receiver for the Quakers. Once again, bring a man in motion. The give is to Foster. He'll look for some room right up the middle. He will find a little bit of room before Gunnar Larson does make the tackle after a gain of about 3 yards. That's going to set up about 3rd and 5, just shy of the Quaker 48-yard line.
Yeah, this is where Plainfield can sometimes struggle. you have a lot of options at 3rd and 5, but with the way that they ran the ball last year, you got to be able to get some of these first downs through the air.
Yeah, and this really kind of plays into Avon's hands. I mean, third and 5 is where you want to be if you're on defense. It's one of those iffy situations, but it's certainly better in 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2.
Nice wander will work out of the gun. Foster to his left. 2 wides to the top of the formation, but the give is to Foster, and he wasn't even able to get back to the line of scrimmage before he stumbled as he was tripped up by the 46-yard line. And it's going to bring up 4th down for Coach Woodard and the Quakers.
Looked like the turf monster came up and got him a little bit on that one.
So 4th down, and we'll see they're going to bring on John Hagee to punt this ball away. Back deep for the Orioles will be Corey DePriest and Jordan Peterson. We also expect throughout the season possibly see Andrew Griffin back in punt coverage. But right now they will send the junior DePriest and the 6', 175-pound senior Jordan Peterson back. Hagee gets this ball away, a wobbling end-over-end kick that's going to bounce and head out of bounds, and that's going to do it for the Quakers on that drive. 3:26 left to go, opening quarter, 7-0 Orioles. McNamara Florist is Indy's hometown florist since 1954, with 8 convenient locations, including the new Avon store on Rockville Road. McNamara Florist is famous for our floral designs for all occasions that help our clients express their emotions through flowers. Visit McNamara Florist for outstanding personal service and to select from the renowned home decor merchandising, including stunning Christmas classics. McNamara Florist is located at 9655 East Highway 36 in Avon, and you can give them a call at 579-7900. 1st and 10 for the Orioles, and Brandon Peters will keep it himself. He's going to pick up a couple of yards before the Quakers greet him rather rudely at around the 22-yard line. Let's set up the Plainfield Quaker defense. They will run a 3-4. Across the front line will be Matt Moeller, Bryce Biddle, and Roger Roy. Keep an eye on Biddle. We'll probably be hearing a lot from him tonight. The linebackers, Tevin Tomlinson, he's a good one. Hunter Lloyd, Brad Wicker, and Coy Anderson. The corners are Corey Bennett and Clayton White, and the safeties are Josh Briscoe and Andrew Zoss. It'll bring up 2nd down, about 6 yards. I'll say Brandon got it up to about the 23-yard line. Orioles scored on their first possession of the game, a 19-yard strike from Peters to Griffin, and now they have 2nd down and about 6. Peters in the gun. Here's the give to Darian Love. Won't find a whole lot, and he'll be tackled after little to no gain. Might get up to about the 25-yard line, but that will be all. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
Like I mentioned in the pregame talk, I mean, Plainfield wants to slow play Avon. They didn't score on the last possession, but they were able to hang on to the football, get it up to midfield, punt it down to 20. They're very happy and very content to make Avon go 80 yards, and right now they're just trying to slow things down a little bit and making Avon make some plays.
Just under 2 minutes left to go, opening quarter. Orioles with a 7-0 lead. 3rd down and 4. Peters fires, has his man open at the 35 and up to about the 38-yard line. As getting the pass and making the reception was Jordan Peterson. A 6', 175-pound senior, and as Coach Bless said again in his pregame coaches show, may not have as much two-back offense, but they do believe that they have a little bit better advantage with wide receivers this year than even they had last year. They've got some speed, they got a little bit of size, and they look to see if they can take advantage of it with Peterson, who is a very, very accurate arm. 1st and 10 for the Orioles at their own 38-yard line. Minute 31 and counting, 7-0 Orioles. Here's Love, gets to the right side, penalty flag on the play on the far side. And this looks like to be an illegal procedure penalty called against Avon. It was Darian Love with a nice hole over the right side. We mentioned that the Orioles, they are playing 2 freshmen on the right side of the line, DJ Bowles and Addison Batten. Bowles the guard, Batten the tackle. They both have excellent size. Bowles is 6'2", 290, and Batten is 6'3", 280. And one of the things Coach Mark Bless said, they may be freshmen, but he was very impressed with their technique and their maturity. And he doesn't like to play, and Coach, I think you would say, you don't normally see a whole lot of freshmen playing, especially on an offensive line, but they've got size and they've got good technique.
Well, freshmen playing in 6A football is a good news, bad news thing, but everything I've heard about these two has just been outstanding. So, they worked hard, strength-wise they're good, and they're playing very, very well.
Here's a strike. And on the play-action pass, Peters with a fake to Love. He found Andrew Griffin for a gain of 16 yards and an Oriole first down up to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, Coach Moore, Eric Moore, coaches the offense, does an excellent job, kind of mixes things up. And, the big difference for me, I mean, Brandon Peters as a sophomore had this kind of ability, but now he's a quarterback. I mean, he's in control, he's poised, he makes plays. Things don't go well, you see him coaching up the other players. I mean, he's just in total control of the offense right now.
1st and 10, Avon at their own 49. Love with a play-action pass, and they will make the catch to tight end Matt Moore will make the catch into Quaker territory. Another nice little play-action pass. One of the things about Darian Love's size, it's so difficult for that offensive line and the defensive backfield to actually see him and whether he's got the football or not. And the Orioles look like they have used that to their advantage these past couple plays. A nice little strike from Peters to Moore.
Yeah, Matt Moore, I think, is the best tight end in Indiana, and were he not a baseball recruit at Purdue, I think he would be getting a little bit notoriety in football. He can do it all.
There's Darian Love. He will take it to just shy of the 40. Enough for possibly the first down. It will be a first down with 7.9 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. As the Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers 7-0, and they will let the clock run out here on the first quarter. Switch ends, and we'll move on to the second quarter. Our score at Hendricks Regional Health, game night in Hendricks County. It is the Avon Orioles 7, the Plainfield Quakers nothing. Back in a moment. This is game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBradio.com.
Ivy Tech Community College offers a high-quality, high-value college education. Ivy Tech is the place to start a career or further your education. Even if you're planning to pursue a bachelor's degree, Ivy Tech's quality education is recognized statewide, so our credits transfer. Ivy Tech has a campus in Crawfordsville near I-74 at US 231. Complete your free application at ivytech.edu/apply now or call 888-IVY-LINE. Get started now on a brighter future at Ivy Tech. We'd like to thank Citywide Paving for their support of Avon football and our Avon football broadcast this year.
Avon Dental Center is a proud sponsor of Avon High School sports broadcast. Dr. Timothy Greer and Dr. Christopher LaFave have served Hendricks County families for over 20 years. Located in Avon's Beechwood Center area just east of Ivy Tech, they're open Monday through Friday, although early morning hours are available. Avon Dental Center offers high-tech dentistry that includes dental implants, orthodontics, and one-appointment crowns. At Avon Dental Center, their priority is to deliver quality care to informed patients in a comfortable and convenient setting. You can get more information at avondentalcenter.com or call for an appointment at 272-8100. Avon Dental Center.
Welcome back to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. Game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBradio.com alongside J.P. Sinclair and the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. I'm Brian Scott. Second quarter about to get underway, and the Avon Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers 7-0. They did actually measure for a first down before they switched ends, and the measurement was a first down for Avon. So they have it 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line as Peters will work out of the gun. And he will take the snap, drop back, looks, fires over the left side. Andrew Griffin on a nice little out route around the 29-yard line, and it will be another Oriole first down.
Well, that's a good play call, great read. Plainfield's playing what we call cover 4, which basically is man-to-man on the outside. Griffin's got that great speed, ran him off deep. He's an experienced receiver. He gave him a release like he was going to try to hit the home run. Once the DB backed up, he broke it off, and Brandon obviously delivered the ball on time. And, let's take our hat off right now. The Avon offensive line is doing their job, even with those two freshmen in there. Hadn't been a whole lot of heat right now on Brandon Peters.
Two wideouts to the near side. Here's the play action pass to Love. They'll get Matt Moore. Peters floats it up. Moore brings it down, and it is inside the red zone, inside the 15, down to the 13. I was here last week for the scrimmage between Avon and Bloomington North. I think they targeted Matt Moore 7 times. He did not drop a single ball. In fact, he made a nice touchdown catch where Brandon put it where only it could be caught by Matt. He was down low near the ground. Matt was between the football and the defender, and those big soft hands by Matt Moore cradled it in. And Matt looks like he still hasn't dropped a pass.
Yeah, 318 yards from Moore last season, and that was just an absolutely gorgeous little drop in there from Peters to Moore. I mean, that was pinpoint accuracy over the top.
Harrison Weber will be the wide out to the far side. Griffin will come to the near side. The give, though, is to Love. He'll look for some room. He will not find a lot, and Bryce Biddle is there to bring him down. JP, we take a look at this Quaker defense. We know they've got an excellent defensive tackle in Bryce Biddle and an excellent linebacker in Tevin Tomlinson, but right now it's the DBs that are really giving the defense a little bit of an issue here for the Quakers.
Yeah, and you look at a guy like Coy Anderson. He was up and down last year, had to do a lot more offense, was even playing running back at some point. They were so injured, but he's great on defense. He's got such good speed back there in that DB backfield for this Quaker defense.
Peters will take a 2nd and 10. Stands in the pocket, throws it over the middle, and it is caught by Andrew Griffin. You could not throw that ball any better between 3 Quaker defenders, and the only one that came away with the football was Andrew Griffin for the touchdown.
You know, the pitch and catch is there all night long, but right now the Avon offensive line is doing such a good job of protecting that it's almost like a 7-on-7 contest. You know, Brandon's sitting back there with all kinds of time, and I know we're talking a little bit about the DBs, but I'd hate to be a DB when Brandon Peters is back there with that much time to throw the football and throwing to the kind of receivers that he's throwing to.
Perino's extra point is good. With 11:04 left to go in the first half, the Orioles extend their lead to 14-0. Back with a kickoff after this. This is Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com.
Running out of space? Tired of the clutter, but don't want to part with your possessions? We have a solution for that at Northfield Self Storage in Brownsburg. Whether you need a little extra storage or a larger space, our storage units ranging from 5x10 to 10x30 will surely take care of your needs. We also carry packing supplies such as boxes, tape, bubble wrap, and a whole lot more. Come see Northfield Self Storage and U-Haul at 1530 West Northfield Drive in Brownsburg, open 7 days a week.
Brandon Peters to Andrew Griffin. We've said it once, now we've said it twice. 14-yard touchdown pass, and the extra point by Samperino is good. And with 11 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in the first half, the 6th-ranked Orioles lead the Quakers by the score of 14-0. We did just get a score from the Pike-Brownsburg game, and with just 6 minutes into the game, Pike already up over the Bulldogs 14-0. Both those teams were ranked 13th coming into this matchup, and we knew that after this game, one was going up and one was going down, but right now Pike with the lead. Here's the kick. It'll be taken by Anderson at the 3. He'll take it to the 20, and he will not get to the 20-yard line before he is brought down. And they'll give him forward progress. They're actually going to spot the ball at the 20, and once again, the Quakers will see what they can do offensively. It's been a struggle for their first few possessions, and they now find themselves trailing by 2 touchdowns with 10:58 left to go in the first half.
Well, plus we're in a situation here for Avon where they're up by 2 scores. They've got them pinned back here on the 20-yard line. As much as they like to blitz anyway, I wouldn't be surprised to see Avon even pin their ears back even more and send a linebacker or 2 and really try to get after them and break this game wide open.
Nice wander. We'll look over the 3-man front. They'll send a man in motion. They'll give it on the jet sweep, coming around the near side and getting a nice block, and still moving is big Jacob Maple. He played a lot last year, but JP, he played hurt, and it really wasn't until those final few games and into the sectionals that he really got healthy enough to play well.
Yeah, that was the thing about Maple last year is he went down early, missed about 3 or 4 games in a row, came back, and it was a completely different offense. And you could see the type of dynamic he can bring to this offense for this Quaker team.
It's a pickup of 15 yards up to the Quaker 35-yard line. 1st and 10, Plainfield. They trail by 14 with 10:42 left to go first half. Nice wander with a four-man out, wide outs. He'll drop back, throw the fade, looking near side, and the pass is too long. Looking for Dante Keys. He had Ian Pendleton all over him. It'll fall incomplete, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, good coverage, but again, I mean, I think Brian Woodard, or if it's Brent Schwanenkamp, whoever's calling the plays over there, they're doing a nice job mixing it up. Different formations, little jet sweep. You're down 2, you take a chance and, see if you can hit the home run and get yourself back in it. So I like the way they're kind of mixing up their plays and formations and trying to attack the Avon defense in a variety of ways.
Bring up 2nd down and 10. Nose of the football on the Quaker 35-yard line. They'll put 3 wideouts to the top of the formation. Nice wander will bring a man in motion. The give is to Foster. He has met right as soon as he got the football, and he was met and brought down. It looked like 95 Gunnar Larson, the 5'11", 220-pound junior, met him in the backfield and dropped him for a 1-yard loss.
Well, the Avon defensive linemen do a good job at drawing blocks. I mean, they're active, they slant, they're moving them. They've got 3 outstanding linebackers playing inside, and Matt Thompson and Levi Hawk and Brody Good, and they're very active. And, you got Fitz to the wide side of the field, which makes it tough.
They'll send Dante Keys, Gavin Ritter, and Dawson Anderson to the far side. Nice wander, drops back, gets some protection, rolls to his right. Now he's in trouble, and he's brought down. Penalty flag. It was a sack back near the 23-yard line. Looked like C.J. Hunt got back there, but might have also gotten the face mask of the quarterback, Colin Nicewander, while he was at it.
Yeah, great pressure. They did bring a linebacker. They took the defensive ends and worked them outside a little bit for contain, and that's where they ended up getting the sack. I think he was a little bit high on the tackle and grabbed the face mask to help him on the tackle.
It is a 15-yard personal foul face mask penalty that will be called against Avon. So give the Quakers 15 yards. It is not. They will move it up to, I'd say, the 30. They'll put it at the 36-yard line when all is said and done, just past maybe the 37-yard line. It will be 3rd down, however, but it'll be 3rd down and 8 instead of about 4th down and a mile.
Yeah, looks like three-year starting linebacker Matt Thompson getting the signals in here from Coach Bombi. Matt kind of like Brandon on offense, taking over some leadership with the defense, making sure everybody gets lined up and plays hard.
So 3rd down and about 8 yards to go. Nice wander in the gun. He will now roll out, gets pressure, now tries to go the other way, eludes one man, eludes another, gets a nice block, turns it up the right side, and
man,
it's a lot of running.
Great hit. What a great hit. Matt Thompson came all the way from the Avon side of the field and made the tackle on the Plainfield bench. Matt's one of those strong kids, and I don't think people really realize how well he can run. Great pressure, but they did lose contain, and Matt was able to chase it all the way down the field.
Nice wander with a good job of playing Houdini in the back there, but he couldn't elude Matt Thompson. That's going to bring up 4th down, about 7.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well for Plainfield, though, if Nicewander's going to be moving around like that or taking hits like that.
Hagee punting for the 3rd series in a row. Not a good punt. It'll go out of bounds on the far sideline. Let's see where they finish marking this football off.
Yeah, a little more.
42-yard line of Avon is where the Orioles will set up offense again. They've had 2 offensive series, and they have 2 touchdowns to show for it. With 9 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first half, Avon leads Plainfield 14-0. Alongside J.P. Sinclair and Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. Game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. We'll be bringing you a mix of games this season on XRBRadio.com. As Brandon Peters brings the offense out, they'll have it 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of Avon. 4 wideouts in the pattern. Darian Love, the lone tailback. And the play action pass. Brandon, pressure backside. He felt it, scrambles out. And a good job by Brandon Peters. Felt the pressure come from the backside and turned it into about a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, Brandon has a real knack. It's one of those, I can't believe it in football, there's no stat for it, but Brandon has just a knack for avoiding the rush, stepping up. You know, if I were an offensive lineman for him, I'd really love him because, you know, he doesn't give up many sacks. He doesn't hurry the ball much. And, you know, I think the maturity shows because, you know, he doesn't put the ball up for grabs. He doesn't put it on the ground. He takes what he can get, moves on to the next play.
Harrison Weber and Jordan Peterson go to the far side. That's Andrew Griffin to the near side on this 2nd down and 5 from the Oriole 47-yard line. Peters gives it to Darian Love. Love looks for some room around the right side. Not much there as Coy Anderson, the 5'7", 170-pound senior linebacker, came down. Nice pursuit and brings down Darian Love. So good speed, as JP mentioned, from Coy Anderson. He brings Darian down from behind. That's going to bring up 3rd down and about 5.
Yeah, and Darian's got a little quickness, so if you brought him down from behind, he can run as well.
So 3rd down and 5. The Orioles had a big 3rd down on their last drive that Andrew Griffin picked up, and now we'll see what they can do with 3rd and 5. 3 wide outs.
Matt Moore.
Peters steps, fires left side, pass is complete. It's Jordan Peterson inside the 45 down to about the 42-yard line, a pickup of about 10 yards. The Orioles move the chains, and they are once again in Quaker territory.
I think you're seeing completely two different offenses. I mean, this Avon team is just so methodical right now with what they're bringing. As Coach Shelburne alluded to, I mean, just Peters just taking what the defense is giving to him.
Yeah, they're showing a lot of patience. I mean, you know, Coach Moore knows his stuff. He's a great play caller. He's a quarterback himself, so he thinks like a quarterback, and you know, he knows the skills he has. He's, you know, very wisely changing formations, making good calls, and, you know, that's why they're taking advantage of what they're getting.
Drew Pankey-Wallace is in there with Jordan Peterson and Andrew Griffin on this 1st and 10, but they give it to Darian Love. He will go right up the middle and pick up about 3 or 4 yards before he's brought down. Initial contact by Matt Moeller, the 6'2", 220-pound senior defensive tackle, but Darian will pick up a couple of yards down to near the 40-yard line. I'll bring up 2nd and 8. 7:40 left to go, opening half. First half, 14-0, the 6th-ranked Avon Orioles over the Plainfield Quakers. A beautiful night for football here in central Indiana. Just some light clouds, pleasant night, not too hot, and a great crowd here from both aspects. Here from the Avon crowd and across the way, the Plainfield Red Pride representatives. Here's Peterson. He gets away. He's got room now on the near side to the 30, and he will get out of bounds inside the 30, close to about the 29, 28-yard line. It's going to be a pickup of almost 10 yards and a 1st down for Avon.
Yeah, I mean, in a different offense, Brandon could be that, inside zone read type of quarterback. I had him as a 7th grader. He was one of the better DBs I had. You know, if you've seen him on the basketball court, you know, if he had chosen to go that way, probably could have ended up being a Division I basketball player as well. He's very capable, and I think, maybe a little different than a lot of quarterbacks. He's tough as nails.
Peterson and Pankey-Wallace will go to the far side as Griffin sets up near side. Matt Morris, tight end, over the left side. Peters back to pass, lefts it over the middle, down, and the pass is incomplete. Good try, as coming over and trying to get the reception was Drew Pankey-Wallace. Ball, he just couldn't quite get it off of the turf. And the umpire comes in and rules that it's incomplete.
Yeah, short arm that just a touch.
Yeah, it was like Peters had to wait just a little bit too long to throw that one.
Yeah, well defended, but again, I mean, you know, they right now, because of the style they're playing, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of pressure, so he can sit back there a little longer and try to make the play.
So it'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Avon. 7:02 left first half, and this play will be stopped dead as Corey DePriest, who was into the ball game as the tailback, he gets the handoff, but this play is blown dead as it's going to be offsides called against the Quakers. So a free 5 yards for Avon will bring up 2nd down and 5, and the ball will be inside the 25-yard line of the Quakers.
Tried to change things up and play a little bump and run over there on Andrew Griffin. You know, they've been going underneath with the little hitches and slants and that type of thing, and tried to change things up and get him up in his face a little bit, and he was not aware of the line of scrimmage and lined up in the neutral zone.
So once again, the Orioles will send Pankey-Wallace and Peterson to the far side, Griffin to the near side. DePriest stays on as a tailback. They'll line up more in the slot left.
Matt Moore down the middle.
Second down and 5. Peters back to pass. Pressure comes. They set up the screen. DePriest will take it, cut it up, makes a cut to the 10, to the 5, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. A really, really nifty move by the 5'6", 150-pound junior, Corey DePriest. He scores from 14 yards out, from 24 yards out, and the Avon Orioles tack on another 6 points.
Yeah, and again, nice play call. You know, Avon has always run the screens, but I don't think they're what most people would call a big screen team. So when they do it, they're very effective. They ran their 4 receivers down the field, lots of room to run, and the offensive line got out there and made some key blocks, and a great run for the touchdown.
Yeah, that was a great run from Dupree. Your cameraman kind of messed up over here. That'd be me. I thought he was dead to right, so I didn't move the camera forward. All of a sudden, he made that one flashy move and head towards the end zone. I had to catch up.
Perino gets the extra point, and with 6:51 left in the first half, the Orioles extend their lead to 21-0. Back with a kickoff after this. This is Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com.
Plumbing problems? Yeah, we all get them from time to time, but what if we could avoid the problem? That's what your local Hendricks County hometown company, Westside Plumbing, is here for. At Westside Plumbing, we're dedicated to teaching you about your plumbing problems and helping you maintain your pipes to avoid the big, often messy and expensive problems that could occur. Sometimes Westside Plumbing can even help you fix your plumbing problem right over the phone. Save time and money. Call Westside Plumbing today at 445-8399. That's 445-8399. Westside Plumbing, serving Brownsburg and all of Hendricks County. 445-8399.
Corey DePriest from 24 yards out tacks on the third Avon touchdown in as many drives. And the 6th-ranked Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers by the score of 21-0. As Sam Perino puts a foot into it, it's a low-line drive that will be kicked out of bounds, so that'll be a penalty and might give Plainfield their best field position of the night so far on their 4th series.
Yeah, for Sam, an ugly kick. I don't think that was his intention. I think he just, kind of like some of my wedge shots, I think he just had a little bit of a miss hit there.
So the free kick out of bounds will mean that they will spot the ball at the 35-yard line of Plainfield, and Nicewander and the Quaker offense will take over from there, now trailing 21-0. And JP, if you're over there in Coach Woodard's shoes right now, is it just time you want to start working on a few things and see what you can get to get your running back, both Dylan Foster and Jacob Maple? Right now, their best play was the play with Jacob Maple. And this time they'll put 2 tailbacks in the backfield. They'll send one in motion. That's Maple. Nicewander back to pass. They have Maple, but they'll fire it down the middle and down the right side, I should say. A nice pitch and catch as it was caught by Dante Keys, the 5'10", 175-pound junior. He will take it up to pass the 40 to the 43. It's a pickup of about 8 on the play, 2nd and 2.
You know, typically what I've seen of Woodard, he'll stick with even if they're down, you'll still see them run the ball, because that's just what they do. You'll still see them run the ball and do short passes, a lot of screen passes you saw right there with the motion. They'll probably try and get more running backs going in the passing game, and like you just saw.
2nd and 2, that's Maple in motion. The give is to Foster, and he is tripped up and going nowhere, because shooting across from his middle linebacker position was the 5'11", 210-pound senior Levi Hawk for a loss of a couple.
Yeah, well, Coach Woodard right now, I mean, I would say my thought would be, if I were him, is just to be patient here and put a score on the board. So he's got plenty of time. He can mix things up, and, you know, for a guy who supposedly isn't a throwing coach, I think they've probably thrown the ball 12 times here in the first half. So I think they are trying to mix it up, but I think the whole goal here is to stay patient, and I think he's correct, stay with his game plan. But, you know, it's very important for them, if they're going to stay in this game, to try to get a score.
Quakers go with a jumbo package on 3rd down and about 3, looking to power the ball on the right side, but they are not going to have enough for the first down, as it looks like it's going to be shy by about a yard. They needed to get close to the 45-yard line. They are going to be short by about a yard here. So let's see what Coach Woodard elects to do. He evidently was going to go just jumbo package, everybody over to the right side, and he's going to be shy by about a yard, and they will leave the offense on the field
as we approach the 5-minute mark left to go in the first half, and the Orioles up 21-0 on this fourth down and a little less than a yard.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Coach Woodard, you got to try and get some kind of momentum going as the clock continues to wind down here in the second quarter. So fourth down play here could be huge.
And now I think Coach Woodard's going to think this one over a little bit. And he will call his first of his 3 timeouts with 4:45 left to go in this first half. The Orioles lead the Quakers 21-0. This is game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBradio.com.
Avon has a rich wrestling tradition, and now Red Cobra Wrestling is proud to be a part of it. Opening last November, Red Cobra Wrestling offers training sessions run by nationally known coach Chad Red. Red Cobra Wrestling is located at 9233 East Highway 36 in Avon, across the street from Walmart and behind sidelines in the Red Brick Building. Red Cobra Wrestling offers sessions for all ages, including 3rd grade and under and 4th grade and up. Learn more about prices, class schedules, and information at RedCobraWrestlingAcademy.com.
4 minutes, 45 seconds remain in this first half. The 6th-ranked Avon Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers 21-0. We welcome you to game night in Hendricks County alongside J.P. Sinclair and the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. I'm Brian Scott. Plainfield uses the first of their 3 timeouts on this fourth and less than a yard. Ball is spotted just beyond the 44. They need to get the nose of the football up to the 45, and Coach Woodard will keep the offense out on the field. They will bring in the jumbo package. Bryce Biddle is going to come in as a blocking back. Now they'll actually spread out to the left, to the right, and back to passes. Nice wander, and he's got nowhere to go because A.J. Elcock and a host of Oriole defenders just blew that play up before it could go anywhere. Took Nice wander a little too much time back there. He wanted to hit a quick hitch pattern somewhere over to the left or right. He just didn't have the time. Took a little bit too much time, and he's sacked for a loss back to just inside the Quaker 40-yard line, and the Orioles will have it first down and 10.
Yeah, that too much time was caused by great coverage. They knew they'd have him in man-to-man. I think he was trying to run a little crossing route and see if they could free somebody up, but Avon's defenders just had him covered man for man.
So the fourth down conversion fails, and once again, the Orioles with excellent field position in Quaker territory just inside the 40-yard line. First and 10 up 21-0 with 4:40 left to go in the second quarter. Peters back to pass, has all the time, floats it out, and this is one of the few passes where you'll see Brandon Peters miss Andrew Griffin out on the near side. Just kind of floated it a little too far out of reach, and it'll drop incomplete. It'll be second and 10.
Yeah, speaking about wedge shots, that was just a little bit too much loft on that one.
Well, they tried to run a double crossing route, and really Plainfield stayed home, did a great job. Neither one of them was really open. So, it was a kind of a half-hearted attempt, I think, to throw the ball away. But give a lot of credit to Plainfield. They defended that play very well.
It'll be Weber and Peterson to the far side. Andrew Griffin lines up to the near side. Darian Love is a lone tailback. Play action pass. Peterson fires. He has Andrew Griffin on a stop pattern, and Andrew will take it to the near sideline before he will be run out of bounds, tackled by Brad Wicker and Corey Bennett of the Quakers after a gain of about 5 yards down to the Quaker 35-yard line. It'll set up third down and 5. They'll set it at the 34, so it'll bring down third down and 4 for Avon. Clock stopped at 4:29 left to go in the first half, and the Orioles with a 21-0 lead.
We saw earlier Plainfield had a 3rd and 5. It's tough for them trying to figure out what they were going to want to try and do on a 3rd and 5. Pretty much for Avon with Peters, your entire playbook's open here.
3 wide outs. That's Andrew Griffin to the near side. It is Peterson and Weber to the far side. Love is a lone tailback. Peters back to pass. Has plenty of time now. He'll roll out to his right. He has plenty of room, and he will easily have the first down. It's coming up to make sure he went out of bounds was the strong safety Josh Briscoe. Just nobody home on the near side of the field, and for Brandon Peters, it was just an easy stroll for the first down inside the 25 down to about the 24-yard line.
Well, for Plainfield, it's what poison do you want to swallow? They dropped into coverage. They covered the route so well that Brandon had to run, but part of the reason that he was able to run is when they're only rushing 4, he's a good enough athlete to be able to run for the first down. So if you pressure, he's going to hit. if you drop, he's going to be able to run.
Drew Pankey-Wallace is now in as a wideout for the Orioles on this 1st and 10 from the 24. They give us to Corey DePriest. He looks for some room around the left side, tries to make a cut, and a nice job defensively as Jager Bennett cut him inside, and then the rest of the Quaker defenders brought DePriest down for a gain of only a couple of yards.
Yeah, that was a great pursuit that time from Coy Anderson to finish off that play on Dupree.
That was a great play. He defeated the block by the wide receiver and came up in there and turned it in, because when that play started and Avon got on the corner, it looked like it was going to be a much bigger play than that. So that was an outstanding play.
2nd down and 8 for Avon. Ball at about the 22-yard line. Clock stopped currently at 3:52. Now they will wind it as Peters looks over the defense, and he will look over a 3-man down front for Plainfield.
This is like stealing on Griffin down here.
Griffin to the near side. He makes a move, going to the corner. Here's the pass. Here's the catch. Here's the touchdown. And as Coach said, yes, it was wide open. One of the things that Coach Bless and I talked about is we think of Andrew Griffin really being a wide receiver just in the past year or so, but he and Brandon have been playing catch for quite a few years, and this time it was just easy pickings. Andrew runs the corner route. He eludes the defender easily, and it's an easy touchdown for Brandon Peters.
I was fortunate enough when I gave up the head coaching job. I was crazy enough. I went down and coached middle school football, and I had this group, and they were 7th graders, so I'm not surprised by their success. They had skills, they had a work ethic, they had a great attitude, they're great teammates, and Coach Bless and his coaches have taken these kids and made them even better. But you can see in 7th grade that, you kind of saw this kind of future for them.
3:35 left to go, first half. Avon extends their lead 28-0. Back with a kick after this. This is high school football on ASO and XRBradio.com. Reynolds Body Shop is a proud sponsor of Avon football broadcast. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Their phone is 317-243-2372, and they are open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com. Here's the kick. It's taken by, with the kickoff return is Jagger Barnett, and he will take it to about the 21-yard line. That's where Quakers will set up. It is 28-0 in favor of Avon. Brandon Peters has thrown 3 touchdown passes. He has thrown all of them to Andrew Griffin. That last one.
Screen pass to Dupree. So he's got the 4 touchdowns.
It is opening night for all of us here, especially me. And a 44 touchdown passes.
I can guarantee quarterbacks count screen passes.
I imagine they do.
Touchdown passes also.
I'm sure quarterbacks take all the stats that they can.
Oh, you got it.
Here's Nice Wonder over the right side, and he'll pick up a few yards. So 4 touchdown passes from Brandon Peters, 3 of them to Andrew Griffin, 1 of them on the screen to Corey DePriest. And the Orioles ranked 6th in Class 6A, easily up right now over the Quakers, 28-0. The 3 touchdown passes to Andrew Griffin of 19, 14, and 24 yards, and then the 24-yard screen pass to Corey DePriest. So it's been a very impressive showing for Peters and the Orioles offense. Here's a pitch, right side. Jacob Maple gets the pitch. He will be run out of bounds.
Matt Thompson again chasing the play down. Matt's got running back speed. So somebody hopefully will be smart enough to pick him up because he's a big-time college player too.
They bring up third down and two, for the Quakers. Ball just beyond the 30-yard line with the clock stopped at 2:54 remaining in the first half. Plainfield with 2 timeouts remaining. Orioles have all 3, but the Orioles also have a 4-touchdown advantage on the scoreboard.
Bryce Middle just checked in on offense. You see him play a little bit of fullback here and there.
They will go jumbo once again. They'll bring a man in motion. The give is to the tailback. I believe that's Maple, and this time he looks like he's going to lunge forward and have enough for the Quaker first down. So JP calls it. They bring in their big defensive tackle, Bryce Biddle, to lead the way, and Maple's able to lunge forward, get the first down, and the Quakers will have it 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line.
Yeah, I've seen him wrestle. He's a tough kid.
Yeah, occasionally you'll see Biddle down there in the red zone. They'll give him the ball. He had 8 carries last year for 2 touchdowns, so that's a good percentage.
3 wideouts will come to the near side for Plainfield as the clock moves down to 2:30 in the first half. Here's the give, and finding very little room and still keeping the pile moving is Dylan Foster. Foster, very impressive as a running back last year. He pretty much was the Quaker offense for much of the season, and he's able to pick up 4 very, very tough yards to get it across the 35 to the 36-yard line and bring up 2nd and 6 with the clock continuing to move as we approach the 2-minute mark left to go in the first half.
Yeah, that's one thing to watch when it comes to Foster. You think he's down, but then all of a sudden he springs forward for at least 2 or 3 more yards. Very hard to tackle.
We've got whistle stopping play.
Headgear malfunction.
As they take care of the equipment on the field, and stay tuned. Halftime's coming up as we'll take a quick look at the schedule that's taking place. Here's Anderson, Dawson Anderson. He gets the jet sweep. He takes it around the right side, and he'll pick up about, he might have enough for the first down. We'll see where he was run out of bounds.
Good to see Anderson getting some game going here for him. I mean, last year he went down very early in the season with a leg injury.
20-20 Brownsburg Pike.
It's good to see him get in there and get some good reps. Good to see him back.
It'll be 3rd and short, as you just heard Coach Shelbourne say. The score from Brownsburg is all tied up between the two number 13 ranked teams in 6A, tied for 13th heading into week 1, Brownsburg and Pike, and that game's all knotted up at 20 in the second quarter. Meanwhile, it is 28-0 Avon over Plainfield, and Plainfield with a 3rd down and 1. And where they had been going jumbo, now they'll spread it out on this 3rd and short. They'll bring a man in motion. That's Anderson. Nice wonder, fires right side. Nice pitch and catch. And getting the first down is Dante Keys. And finally, the Quakers are in Oriole territory, I believe, for the first time in this football game on that nice little pitch and catch from Nice Wander to Keys.
Looks like this Plainfield offense is trying to get into a little bit of a groove and try and settle down. I think, as you guys have alluded to, I mean, the score being a little bit out of reach already, and it's not even halftime. You're just kind of seeing them settle into a little bit more of a groove, maybe a little bit of the pressure offense from that first game, as we talked about. First game of the season, you get some of that pressure off, you can get into a little bit more of a groove going for your offense.
1st and 10 for Plainfield, just outside the 45-yard line. 4 wideouts once again for Nice Wonder. He'll drop back to pass, fires right side. Pass is complete. I believe that is Keys once again, but yeah, actually it's Dawson Anderson with the catch as he was brought down by Brody Good. And that's a great story for this Avon Orioles. Brody Good, he missed all of last year with the exception of about a quarter and a half of the Ben Davis game during the regular season. He had a knee injury early. He came back and then tore it up in the Ben Davis game, and he was then out for the rest of the season. But Coach Bless says he's back, and he's feeling really good. Here's Nice Wander, pressure, looking for a hold. It was missed. Nice Wander is going to get to about the 41-42. Coach Bless is going to be beside himself because an obvious hold was missed. But be that as it may, it's a gain of about 2 inside, they'll mark it at the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 5.
Yeah, Brody was in that part of that group that I had. He's a great family. Brody's a good student, good, solid kid. You know, he got knocked down. You never heard him complain. He just went back to work, and I don't think he had any doubts that he'd end up being where he is.
Here's play action. Nice Wander keeps it and really had nowhere to go because staying home and playing that nicely was Timmy Osho from the defensive end, a 5'10", 225-pound senior. He kind of kept Nice Wander from really getting anything out of that. Maybe a gain of a yard, but it's going to bring up 4th down and about 4.
Yeah, I don't think Nice Wander knew what he wanted to do after that ball was to him, whether he wanted to hand it off or take it on his own or look to the right-hand side for the quick pass.
I think Avon's just too quick for them, and that's plus their pressure defense. So, the passing game has got to be short. I've really been impressed that they've gotten outside at all because Avon's front is far, far quicker than Plainfield's.
Plainfield will go jumbo, 4th and 4.
Oh, he's wide open.
Nice wander, fires down the field, and it is missed. They actually had Bryce Biddle that leaked out. He was down at about the 35. I think the pass was intended over there for, I believe, Dawson Anderson maybe, but in the end it falls incomplete, and it's a turnover on downs, and the Orioles will have it 1st and 10 with 34.2 seconds remaining in the half, up by 4 touchdowns.
Coach, you might be able to allude a little bit more to this, but that's one of the things I've noticed when it comes to Plainfield is Nice Wander's always throwing on the run. That cannot be easy to do, at least for accuracy.
Well, as a former quarterback, you'd prefer not to do that. But, you do what you have to do. I mean, I think tonight he's done a relatively good job, with the situation that he's been in. By comparison, obviously, you've got, one of the top high school quarterbacks in the United States over on the other side. But, I think he's done a pretty good job. He doesn't appear, and their personnel a little bit better than I do, but I'm not sure he's got a real flyer on the outside. Anybody that can run by anybody, and with the running game being a little bit mixed, it makes it a little tough. Play action pass should have been gone by this time when you're up 28-0, but they did run that play action pass and had the tight end 20 yards open, and if he'd had time to make the throw, they might have picked up a cheap score here before the half.
Darian Love's 8-yard run will end the first half as the teams head to the locker room, and the 6th-ranked Avon Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers by the score of 28-0. We're going to pay some bills. You are watching and listening to Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. We'd like to thank the following sponsors that make it possible to bring you Plainfield Quaker football on Audio Sports Online. They are Fusion Alliance, Allegiant, and Plainfield Self Storage, all proud sponsors of Red Pride football. For all of your pet care needs, visit the Animal Clinic of Plainfield at 2324 East Main Street right here in Plainfield, directly across from the Super Walmart Garden Center. Dr. Deckard and his team of dedicated doctors and staff know just how important your pets are to you, and they will work hard to keep them healthy and happy for years to come. For more information, visit their website at www.animalclinicofplainfield.com or call to set up an appointment at 839-8154, and be sure to like them on Facebook. Here's a message from Tim Grandstaff of Allstate Insurance in Plainfield. As a personal financial representative in Plainfield, I know many local families. My knowledge and understanding of the people in this community help me provide customers with an outstanding level of service. I look forward to helping families like yours protect the things that are important, your family, home, car, and more. I can also help you prepare a strategy to achieve your financial goals. That's Allstate Insurance in Plainfield at 1911 Crown Plaza Boulevard. Give them a call at 317-839-1500.
If you're a business owner, with or without employees, you're probably wondering about your payroll. Is it being prepared correctly? Are the right amount of taxes being taken out? What about child support, workman's comp, auditing, unemployment, Social Security, local taxes, payroll deductions? It can be a bit overwhelming, but we've got the answer for you. The Payroll Department Incorporated. We'll take care of all those payroll headaches and manage any unique deductions that apply to your company. We offer several ways to submit your payroll and provide you with customized timesheets for reporting. The Payroll Department Incorporated, located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg.
For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction is engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Impact Insurance Restoration is your hometown restoration company for all of your fire, flood, wind, and hail damage needs. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're located at 2340 East Perry Road in Plainfield and can be reached at 268-6375.
Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg has something for everybody, and you don't even have to leave home. Call 286-3500 for free delivery to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Specialty pizzas, calzones, breadsticks, and cheese bread, all made in-house with Panuni's own hand-tossed dough. Not to mention Panuni's jumbo wings. Just tell them you heard about it from XRB and get 10% off of your order. Check out their Facebook page for specials. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday until 11 p.m. Locally owned Panuni's Pizza and Wings on 1447 East Main Street in Brownsburg.
Come visit Blue River Pharmacy, the local independent pharmacy in Hendricks County. When you choose Blue River Pharmacy as your partner in health and wellness, you will enjoy all of the traditional services of a chain pharmacy, plus so much more. Blue River Pharmacy takes time to truly care for and listen to learn our patients' needs. We accept most insurance plans and offer competitive pricing. Whether you need a prescription filled quickly, medical equipment, unique over-the-counter items, or medication management options, Blue River Pharmacy is your local friendly choice. And we offer free delivery. Stop by our Brownsburg location at 680 East 56th Street in the shops at Brownsburg today and choose Blue River Pharmacy.
Halftime at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. The 6th-ranked Avon Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers by the score of 28-0. Welcome to Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. I'm Brian Scott. It has been my pleasure to welcome. He will be the voice of the Plainfield Quakers from here on out this season, J.P. Sinclair. And J.P., while the Quakers right now, they're a little bit on the short end of the stick, and they really haven't had a whole lot of answers for this Avon Oriole offense. Quite frankly, there won't be a whole lot of teams this year that will have an answer for this offense. But Coach Woodard, they got this team with a little bit of excitement last year when they got into the sectionals. They beat Danville for the second time that last year. They had the 4 wins all year. 2 of them were against Danville. But then they have what's pretty much one of those dreams. They go on the road in the sectional semifinal and beat a Northview team that, quite frankly, a lot of people thought that they were going to get pretty much whitewashed in.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I thought the season was over going into that game. But, they showed up. They played a great game. And then, you talk about this mid-state conference. They faced Roncalli twice last year. Didn't have a very good outing against them the first time, but they gave them a run for their money in that second game during the sectionals.
So the Quakers are going to come into this year. It's a very, very tough mid-state conference. It always is. We look at Plainfield's schedule this year. They will come home to play their home opener next Friday against Terre Haute North. JP will have the call for that game, as he will for the rest of the season.
Well, you'll hear Lex Zorn for 2 games.
We'll hear Mr. Zorn for a couple, but JP, you're going to have, I believe, Terre Haute North coming up here.
Yep.
And then we take a look at the schedule right now. Unfortunately, some of the toughest games that Plainfield will play all season. When you take a look at Roncalli, Decatur Central, and Whiteland, they're all on the road this year.
Yeah. And you talk about it. You look at that schedule. Mooresville's much improved over last year. They have a great quarterback. They can throw the ball a lot. And, you can see what a good quarterback can do to this defense. That's one of the struggles that they had last year, was being able to slow down the passing game. And you can see that a little bit here tonight. Obviously, Brandon Peters is a little bit more of a proverbial, Division I quarterback than, say, what Mooresville's got. But, Roncalli at Roncalli, that's probably going to be a very, very tough game for this team. And at Decatur Central, even though Tommy Stevens isn't there, that's still a great, great team. And they're top flight offense, and I'm sure they will be again this year as well.
Of course, when we take a look at the Mid-State Conference, it has been a very, very tough conference for many, many years. Plainfield has always had to deal with some of the top competition in Central Indiana, right there in the Mid-State. And one of the teams that, of course, Avon got a good look at last year that I really predict will be probably the team to beat in the Mid-State will be Whiteland.
Whiteland is very good. They have that jet sweep offense. I think we had a little bit of a different game. It was a rain-soaked game last year, so it was kind of you throw out what the records were and what the teams brought to the table. But that jet sweep offense for Whiteland is a very, very hard-to-stop offense. They're very good at what they do. And it's really kind of hard to get a good read on to what Whiteland's going to do. And if their quarterback if he continues his development and gets a little bit more into passing, that could be a very, very good offense, and I'd love to see where they go. And Whiteland has a terrific defense as well.
We take a look at what's happening in the Mid-State Conference tonight. Franklin is opening up at home. They will take on Columbus North. Decatur Central and Franklin Central will play tonight at Lucas Oil Stadium. That game started at 6 o'clock. Greenwood is at Perry Meridian. Guerin Catholic is at Martinsville. Lebanon is at Mooresville. Plainfield is at Avon, of course, and South Dearborn is at Whiteland. So that is your schedule in the Mid-State Conference tonight as we get the 2015 version of the IHSAA football season underway. It is halftime here at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, and the Orioles lead the Quakers 28-0. We'll take a quick look here at the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Of course, the Avon Orioles, they are the outright Hoosier Crossroads Conference champions from last year. They played a very, very tough game at Noblesville to end the season. They came away with a win, and then they heard that it was Zionsville upsetting Fishers in that final game. So the bus ride from Noblesville to Avon, it was rather joyous when the Orioles found out that they were the HCC outright champions. Didn't dwell on it for too long because they wanted to get back against their lone conference loss last season. That was against Brownsburg. The sectional opener was here at Avon, and of course Avon just demolished Brownsburg 41-10 in the sectional opener. Didn't quite manage to get the same result in the sectional championship game against Ben Davis, as Avon fell to the Giants for the second time last season, 34-27. And while we're already looking that it's 28-0 here at half at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, I'm sure there's a few people in these stands that are probably already taking a look at Ben Davis next week. The Giants are the defending 6A state champions, so that'll be a big game next week. Avon will be on the road, and actually the next 2 weeks the Orioles are on the road. They'll be at Ben Davis next week, and then the following week they will travel to Hamilton Southeastern. A lot of people looked at that Hamilton Southeastern team last year and said, what happened? But Coach Scott May, he had some young players. He was probably still trying to find himself a good quarterback, and we don't quite expect to see Hamilton Southeastern have the struggles that they had last season. Meanwhile, Avon, when you look at their non-conference schedule, of course, they have the Quakers tonight. They have Ben Davis next week, and then they will have Whiteland here on September 18th. Avon beat Whiteland at Whiteland last year, 38-12. In fact, the game never was close. Avon pretty much demolished Whiteland from the get-go, and Whiteland, I'm sure, is going to look for a little bit of payback when they come back here to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. The rest of the schedule rounds out, of course, that big game on September 11th right here at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, when the Brownsburg Bulldogs come to pay a visit. Whiteland on the 18th. The Orioles will have to make road trips to Fishers and Zionsville. They'll get Westfield and Noblesville here at Avon. So that's a little bit of look of what the Orioles schedule looks like. In the Hoosier Crossroads Conference tonight, Hamilton Southeastern, they are opening up with Carmel tonight. They'll have that game at home. Harrison is at Westfield. Lawrence North is at Noblesville. McCutcheon at Zionsville. So you got a couple of former HCC rival or HCC opponents in those couple of contests.
And it's good to see them continue those games.
Well, when you take a look at Harrison and Westfield especially, they're still in the same sectional, so they will meet. They still meet each other, and that's a good thing to keep going. North Central is at Fisher. Of course, we just heard Pike is at Brownsburg, where it's
27-20, Brownsburg at half.
It's halftime, and the Bulldogs are up by 7. And, of course, here at half at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, the 6th-ranked Avon Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers 28-0. We're going to pay a bill or two, come back, second half action right after this. This is Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. Beefcake Burgers is located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield. At Beefcakes, we can build your burger to eliminate your hunger. Come join us and maybe even get in a round of cornhole. That's Beefcake Burgers, located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield.
Changes Home Care is a proud sponsor of Avon High School football broadcast. Changes Home Care assists the elderly in staying independent in the comfort of their own home as long as possible. They assist individuals with bathing, dressing, transportation, medication reminders, light housekeeping, companionship, and much more. Their office is on Shiloh Professional Drive in Avon. Changes Home Care serves Hendricks and Marion County as well as all of the surrounding counties. Their services are available 24/7, 365 days a year. For a consultation appointment, call area code 317-271-3800. That's area code 317-271-3800. Changes Home Care in Avon.
McNamara Florist is Indy's hometown florist since 1954, with 8 convenient locations, including the new Avon store on Rockville Road. McNamara Florist is famous for our floral designs for all occasions that help our clients express their emotions through flowers. Visit McNamara Florist for outstanding personal service and to select from the renowned home decor merchandising, including stunning Christmas classics. McNamara Florist is located at 9655 East Highway 36 in Avon, and you can give them a call at 579-7900. Ivy Tech Community College offers a high-quality, high-value college education. Ivy Tech is the place to start a career or further your education. Even if you're planning to pursue a bachelor's degree, Ivy Tech's quality education is recognized statewide, so our credits transfer. Ivy Tech has a campus in Crawfordsville near I-74 at US 231. Complete your free application at ivytech.edu/apply now or call 888-IVY-LINE. Get started now on a brighter future at Ivy Tech.
We'd like to thank Citywide Paving for their support of Avon football and our Avon football broadcast this year.
Avon Dental Center is a proud sponsor of Avon High School sports broadcast. Dr. Timothy Greer and Dr. Christopher Lefebvre have served Hendricks County families for over 20 years. Located in Avon's Beechwood Center area just east of Ivy Tech, they're open Monday through Friday, although early morning hours are available. Avon Dental Center offers high-tech dentistry that includes dental implants, orthodontics, and one-appointment crowns. At Avon Dental Center, their priority is to deliver quality care to informed patients in a comfortable and convenient setting. You can get more information at avondentalcenter.com or call for an appointment at 272-8100. Avon Dental Center.
Getting ready for second half action here at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. Welcome back to game night in Hendricks County. I'm Brian Scott, joined by JP Sinclair and Dave Shelbourne. The Avon Orioles, they lead Plainfield 28-0. It's been all Brandon Peters and Andrew Griffin just through the air. Orioles with 4 touchdowns all through the air, 3 of them from Brandon Peters to Andrew Griffin, 1 of them to Corey DePriest on a screen. All of it run very, very well, and Brandon already seemingly in midseason form. The Orioles got their first drive of the contest deep into Quaker territory after a punt return, and Andrew Griffin was on the receiving end of a 19-yard touchdown pass from Brandon Peter. With 8:31 left to go in the first quarter, and after San Perino's point after, it was 7-0 in favor of Avon. Second drive, same story. This time an even more impressive throw from Brandon Peters. He threads the needle. He finds Andrew Griffin on a 14-yard touchdown pass, threaded it through 3 Plainfield defenders. A beautiful pass, and the Quakers found themselves now trailing 14-0 with 11:04 left to go in the first half. Didn't last long, as on the very next possession, Brandon Peters this time hits Corey DePriest on a screen pass. DePriest gets it about 4 yards downfield, 5 yards, and then he does the rest on his own with some nifty running. He scores from 24 yards out. San Perino's point after is good. And with 11:04 left to go in the second quarter, it was 14-0. Then it turned into 21-0 on the 24-yard, or 28-0 on the 4-yard touchdown pass from Brandon Peter to Andrew Griffin, and that's where we stand as we begin the second half action. Coach, not much more you can say. We've watched Brandon. If he's missed on 3 or 4 passes, more often than not, it was by design.
Right, throwing the ball away because they were in pretty good coverage.
He has simply been, it's one of the reasons why
a coach the caliber of Jim Harbaugh, who has coached Andrew Luck for the Colts and Colin Kaepernick to a Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, you've coached players that have gone on to college, gone on to the pros. What happens when a coach of Jim Harbaugh's caliber says, I want your quarterback?
Well, he's obviously making a statement. I mean, Brandon's always had skills, and the thing that I'm really impressed, is that Brandon is a complete quarterback now. I mean, I had him in 7th grade, and, you could see then that, he could throw a football. I used to make him, be in tackling drills. I just wanted him to, be a regular kid and be as, show the other kids that he was tough, and he is. But I think he's really developed. If you followed Avon football in the last 3 years, he could throw a football 65, 70 yards when he was a sophomore, but now he's a quarterback. And, I'll make the analogy, it's like a baseball pitcher that, with a fastball of over 90 miles an hour, but, has an 8-7 record because he hasn't figured out how to nickel and dime and move the ball around and throw the changeup. Well, Brandon can do all of that right now. And, I mean, he's just totally in command of things out there. He's a leader. The kids look to him. The offensive line block a little harder because they know if they sit in there and make some, give him some time, he's going to make some big-time plays. And, he and Andrew, I mean, it's like stealing. They've been together so long. They know each other's moves. There's a comfort zone. There's a lot of visual things that take place out there. You might call a play a particular way in the huddle, but they'll both see something in the defense and kind of alter that route and make it happen. So, good first half, great start. I really like the patience that they showed, and, my hat's off to the defense. They've bent a little bit. They've given up some yardage, but, overall they've made plays, run to the football, and been pretty difficult to move the football on.
Orioles will have the ball to begin the second half as John Hagee turns the onside kick, and a fair catch called for as the catch was actually made over here by one of the upmen. Catching the football was Zach Batustik as they tried to get the onside kick, and Batustik with a nice play. He makes the catch, and the Orioles will have it 1st and 10.
Very heads-up play.
At about the 45-yard line.
That's good coaching, and that's good awareness by Zach.
So Batustik, he is a senior. He has seen time on the offensive side of the ball as a fullback. Don't expect to see him this year really that much on the offensive side. You'll see him primarily in as one of the substitute linebackers at middle linebacker. Makes a heady play, and the Orioles will have it 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line. They lead Plainfield 28-0 as Brandon Peters back out to begin the second half. He will give the ball. This is Corey DePriest. DePriest breaks through, and he will take it all the way down to near the Quaker 30-yard line.
Nice job by the Avon offensive line.
Yeah, he got ahead of steam, and he was gone.
So it is a big gain, a gain of about 24 yards for DePriest as he just exploded through a nice hole opened up on that right side. We talked about the two freshmen that are lining up over on the right-hand side. That's generally where you like to see it run the ball, and that right there, DJ Bowles and Addison Batten helped make a hole, and Corey DePriest squirted right through for the big gain. 1st and 10 for the Orioles. Here is DePriest once again spinning, turning, and he will take it right up the middle, down to the 25, inside the 25, down to about the 24-yard line.
Well, Avon's being smart here. Plainfield has come out because they've been burned with the pass so much, and they've removed one of their linebackers. So they've got an extra guy playing in pass defense right now, which means they're one short in their offensive front. Instead of playing 7 up front in the box, now they're playing with 6. Avon sees that. Coach Moore sent it into play, and, unless they get back to that 7-man front again, you're probably going to see an awful lot of inside zone here until they put the ball in the end zone.
2 plays by DePriest, nets about 30 yards on the ground, 2nd and 4 for the Orioles. Here's a play action. They float it over, and that's going to be one of the few times you're going to see Brandon Peters miss a wide open Matt Moore as he floats it over his head. Incomplete, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, nice setup, inside zone fake again. They bit. Matt was wide open, and, one of the few times you're going to see a little bit of a miscue.
I'm surprised he didn't try and gun it in there. Didn't look like he tried to put too much heat on it.
It looked like that 3-0 pitch when you're trying to throw the strike, and instead of just rearing back and letting it go, you just don't quite get it in there.
Of course, Matt Moore at 6'3", he's going to tower over a lot of defenders, and you just have to put it up there and let him go get it, but just a little too far out of his reach. 3rd and 4, they give us to Priest. He looks for some room, and he is going to be horse-collared down. Bryce Biddle got him at the point of attack, might have gained a half a yard. That's all. It's going to bring up 4th down, and it looks like they will bring in Perino to attempt a field goal that will be about 40 yards.
Need to work on the field goal, too.
So 40-yard field goal attempt by Sam Perino. Andrew Griffin will hold. Good snap. Low kick. But the kick is up, and the kick is no good. It'll be wide to the left. And field goal will be...
One called it good, one called it...
So let's hold it right here as we've got...
let's see the replay. Let's see the replay.
The official that
was the official that was underneath the goalpost that the ball slid made the no good signal.
Go under the cloth. Take a look at the replay.
And they're just going to say that it was no good. They're going to put the ball on the 20-yard line. So
I think what they're really saying is it's 28-0.
It's 28-0.
Let's just move on.
And it's 28-0 with 9:59 left to go in the third quarter. And the Quakers will have their first offensive drive here to begin the second half. That miss was the first Oriole drive that didn't result in points. Nicewander fires. Nice catch as he fires over to the right-hand side. Lance Myers makes the stick. And coming down with the football, we'll see as they unpile a whole bunch of players. It looks like coming down was Dante Keys.
Yeah, nice throw. He had time that time. They rolled him out a little bit to try to buy some time. He let the pass develop. They had a nice little zone route there. They flooded the zone a little bit, and he waited to see where the Avon defenders were going, and he found his open man.
Second down, about 4 yards to go. Ball spotted at the Quaker 27-yard line. It'll be second down and about long 3. Maple goes in motion. Nicewander on the give inside. That's Foster. He's going nowhere as a whole host of black-clad Oriole defenders shot through and made excellent penetration in the backfield to drop Foster for a short loss.
Yeah, just absolutely no push from the offensive line that time. Poor Foster, he didn't have anywhere to go as soon as they got the ball.
Avon has subbed quite a bit up front. The 3 starters obviously are the better kids, but they're very active. They're very strong. They can get by with only 3 players because those kids are pretty athletic, and they put them on the move all the time.
Jacob Otto in his right defensive end for Gunnar Larson. This is third down at about 3. Nicewander back, fade route, looks down the sideline, incomplete. He was looking over here to the near side for Luke Middleton. Scott Campbell in excellent coverage. It will go incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down for Plainfield. And this time, Coach Woodard will send the punt team out with the ball deep in their own territory at their own 28-yard line. It'll be John Hagee out to kick this ball away to Corey DePriest and Jordan Peterson. Hagee will stand back near his 14-yard line. DePriest and Peterson back near their own 40. 8:34 left to go, third quarter. Orioles lead the Quakers 28-0.
Be careful with DePriest. He's got some momentum now. But he's not going to get it.
Fair catch is going to be called by Jordan Peterson, and he will take it at around the 41-yard line, and that is where the Orioles will set up shop. 1st and 10 with 8:28 left to go in this third quarter. Alongside J.P. Sinclair and Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. Game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. As Peters in the offense comes back out. They will, once again, this time Corey DePriest will be the tailback as Peters looks over a 3-man front, 3 wideouts to the far side of the field. Peters back to pass. Pressure comes. He eludes 1 man. Now he cuts back, comes near side. Bryce Biddle in pursuit, fires downfield and throws it away.
Good job by eluding Bryce Biddle. Biddle thought he might have had Peters back in the backfield, but Peters spun away from Bryce Biddle, came to the near side. He was looking for Andrew Griffin on the near side, but that was just simply throwing the ball away. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Well, that's that athletic play I was talking about earlier. I mean, with any other quarterback, that's a sack, which offensive lines don't like to give up. So that sack doesn't go, on the stats for the Avon offensive line because Brandon made a great athletic play.
Andrew Griffin is to the far side. Harrison and Peterson to the near side, but they give us to DePriest. Nice
Wide
cut.
open.
Back up the middle, and DePriest slashes up past the 45 and up to about the 48-yard line. It's going to be a pickup of about 7 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 3.
It was like the Red Sea had parted there for Dupree. That offensive line had great push for Dupree and was able to give him pretty much an ocean to run through on that one.
Yeah, they good push, but it's really tough for Plainfield. What do you defend? He's throwing the ball very well, so they're seeing pass a lot when they come back with the run. So they've got them on their heels a little bit, and that does make the running game a little bit easier.
Makes the play action easier for Avon.
Absolutely.
Here's Peters, a nice adjustment by Andrew Griffin. He was turning to the inside. The pass was thrown toward the outside sideline, and Andrew Griffin, with an excellent adjustment to the football, makes the catch inside Quaker territory, and it's a 1st down for Avon at the Plainfield 44-yard line. Andrew looked like he was trying to maybe cut that in just slightly. Brandon threw it out, and a great job and a nice adjustment by Andrew Griffin. 1st and 10, 4 wide outs in the pattern this time with Matt Moore lined up in a slot right. Peters back to pass, and he will not elude Bryce Biddle this time. Biddle shot in from that right side. He got around Addison Batten, and Biddle with the sack back near the midfield stripe for a loss of about 6.
I mean, that's just what Bryce Biddle does. I mean, great penetration right there, and you talked about it. Peters normally very, very aware of the pressure, but Bryce Biddle was through the offensive line so quick. Peters really didn't have an opportunity to read too much into that.
No, he didn't. In the coverage, they were trying to go deep. The coverage was good, so he hung out of the ball a little bit longer, and it was a nice sack. Good play for the Plainfield defense.
Moore and Griffin will stack up to the right. It is Pankey-Wallace and Peterson to the near side, but the give is to Corey DePriest, and he will get nothing as good pressure or good penetration by the Quaker defensive front line will stop him for a 1-yard loss. And now the Orioles find themselves moving backwards on consecutive plays. They're back in Oriole territory at the 49-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 17. Avon needs to get it down to the Quaker 34-yard line for a 1st down. We're approaching the midway point here in the 3rd quarter with Avon up 28-0. 3 wideouts with 2 to the top of the formation. Corey DePriest, the lone tailback. Peters drops to pass. Pressure comes, and it's batted down. And there's a nice play. Coy Anderson, he came in from his linebacker position, simply jumped up in the air, got a hand up, and knocks down Brandon Peters' pass, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, nice defensive call. They had 3rd and long. Plainfield, who's not usually a blitzing team, did bring a blitzer. I mean, he came unblocked off the outside, with trying to throw a longer route.
And this is something we thought, whether Coach Bless said, one of the things you're going to see is Brandon Peters punting this year, and that, of course, leaves them with some very interesting possibilities out of this formation. Peters with a high spinning kick. This one's going to bounce and take a Plainfield bounce. It's still going, and it's finally going to be knocked down at about the 41-yard line, and that's where the Quakers will start.
Got to point that toe a little bit more.
5:38 left to go, 3rd quarter, 28-0. Orioles with the lead.
Avon.
Running out of space, tired of the clutter, but don't want to part with your possessions? We have a solution for that at Northfield Self Storage in Brownsburg. Whether you need a little extra storage or a larger space, our storage units ranging from 5x10 to 10x30 will surely take care of your needs. We also carry packing supplies such as boxes, tape, bubble wrap, and a whole lot more. Come see Northfield Self Storage and U-Haul at 1530 West Northfield Drive in Brownsburg, open 7 days a week. First play of the drive for the Plainfield Quakers is going to end with Colin Nicewander being swallowed up by A.J. Elcock for a 6-yard sack back to the Quaker 35-yard line. And that is where they will have second down and about 16 to go with 5:13 left to go third quarter, and the 6th-ranked Orioles leading 28-0. Alongside J.P. Sinclair and the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. Brandon Peters, well, his first punt that we've seen him make, not a thing of beauty, but
had the hang time, just not the distance.
Had the hang time, a little bit of a backspin. Here's a give to, I believe, Dylan Foster, and he's going to find a whole lot of black-clad Oriole defenders on that right side. And Foster, with just strength alone, is going to gain 3 yards before he's pushed back, but it's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Quakers.
You know, in that previous play, we've talked about it a little bit tonight, Colin Nicewander, goes to the right and then spins all the way around to start heading to the left away from the pressure. You know, he's having to make so many decisions on the run that if he could find a way to set up in the pocket and just look a little bit further, quick passes, that might help out this Plainfield team a lot, because that amount of time it takes to spin all the way around like he does takes a lot of time, and it makes those defenders right in your face.
Head coach Mark Bless did not like what he saw on defense, and he elects to take a timeout with 4:22 left to go third quarter. Avon leads Plainfield 28-0. It's game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBradio.com.
Avon has a rich wrestling tradition, and now Red Cobra Wrestling is proud to be a part of it. Opening last November, Red Cobra Wrestling offers training sessions run by nationally known coach Chad Red. Red Cobra Wrestling is located at 9233 East Highway 36 in Avon, across the street from Walmart and behind sidelines in the Red Brick Building. Red Cobra Wrestling offers sessions for all ages, including 3rd grade and under and 4th grade and up. Learn more about prices, class schedules, and information at RedCobraWrestlingAcademy.com.
Head coach Mark Bless elects to use his first time out of the second half on defense as they set up for this 3rd down and long by the Quakers. Plainfield needs to get to the Oriole 49-yard line to get a first down, so it's about 3rd down and 13 with 4:22 left to go third quarter. Nicewander will start out in the gun with 4 wideouts, 2 to the top, 2 to the bottom, and we got all sorts of movement going everywhere. Gavin Ritter, he was about 7 yards downfield before the ball even moved, so we're going to see who went first, who was across first, and that is going to be the only decision that needs to be made, and they will call this against Plainfield. We had Orioles moving it right before the snap. We had Gavin Ritter 7 yards downfield, and they said that Ritter had moved before the Orioles had entered into the neutral zone, so it goes against Plainfield. That backs them up to the 33-yard line and makes it 3rd and very, very long, 3rd and 18 for Plainfield. They will send Luke Middleton to the far side of the field. Coming to the near side is Dante Keys. 4 wideouts are in the pattern for Nicewander and the Quakers. He'll get the snap. Pressure comes. A.J. Elcock. Nicewander eludes. Still running, and he's just going to finally run out of room. He was pursued by Levi Hawk coming out of his middle linebacker. A.J. Elcock flushed him to his left, and just the pressure too much, and Nicewander finally ends up out of bounds. Little to no gain on the play. That'll bring up 4th and long, and it'll be John Hagee on to punt this ball away for Plainfield.
I mean, even though Avon's up 28-0, they haven't changed their style at all. They're still, Levi's the middle linebacker. They're still blitzing them. They're still trying to get after it, and they're still trying to put a lot of pressure.
Here comes Hagee's kick. This one's a high kick. Fair catch called for and taken by Jordan Peterson at about the 39-yard line, and that is where the Orioles will set up shop. 1st and 10. Avon scored 4 times in the first half. They have been empty on their first couple of possessions here in the second half. With 4:08 left to go in the third quarter, the 6th-ranked Orioles lead the Quakers 28-0 as they'll spot the ball at the 35-yard line, and that's where Brandon Peters in the offense sets up shop.
That was a much better punt from Hagee that time compared to what we've seen thus far from him.
Harrison Weber and Jordan Peterson will come to the near side. Matt Moore will line up in the slot left. It's Andrew Griffin way lined up on the right-hand side. And it will be Darian Love, the lone tailback, in the backfield with Brandon Peters. He'll look over a Quaker 3-man front with Love to his left. Brandon takes the snap, quick hitch, fires over the near side and throws One, his coach has been using baseball euphemisms all night. That was a fastball down in the dirt right in front of the plate and right in front of Jordan Peterson. So it'll bring up 2nd down and 10 for the Orioles.
Well, as somebody that played that position, I'll just make this comment. Even Andrew Luck throws an occasional incompletion, and I think he's as good as it gets. So, you don't like it. Happens every now and then, but, when the big-time throw is necessary, he'll certainly be able to make it.
More Peterson and Weber all to the near side, Griffin to the far side. The 2nd and 10 for the Avon Orioles. 4:05 left to go third quarter. They give us to Darian Love. He's going to maybe gain a yard or two, but that's about all that he is going to get. Looks like he was brought down by Brad Wicker, a 5'11", 185-pound junior linebacker for the Quakers after a gain of about 2.
Yeah, I almost hate to say this, toward the end of the third quarter, but I can tell you as a head coach, you've got multiple thoughts going through your head on the sidelines. One, you can't chalk this up yet, although you're starting to feel pretty good. You want to get through the rest of the game without getting your key players hurt. And are you looking ahead to next week a little bit? If I'm going to be real honest with you, yes. So, they're going to do a few things here probably that they want to make sure they get ready for next week, and one of them obviously is, running the football with their inside running game.
That's Brandon Peters to Matt Moore. Matt with a nice catch. He'll take it up past the 45 to the 46. That'll be, actually spotted at the 47. Forward progress to the 47, 1st and 10 Avon. As Coach mentions, are they looking a little bit to next week? All that's waiting for them next week is the number 1 team in the state of Indiana in Class 6A, Ben Davis. Ben Davis playing tonight, but the Orioles will be at Ben Davis next week. The Orioles will have played Ben Davis next week 4 times in less than 2 years when they meet next week. 3 wideouts at the top of the formation. Peters. Here's the give. Darian Love looks for some room, pushes the pile forward. He'll get across the midfield stripe before he's finally gang tackled at about the 49-yard line of Plainfield after a gain of about 4 yards, bring up 2nd and 6. 2:40 left to go, third quarter, and the Orioles lead the Quakers 28-0.
Yeah, we mentioned both the freshman offensive linemen, but there's 3 seniors out there doing a nice job for Avon's offensive line. Nick Shoemaker, who's been a good, solid kid for a couple years, Ben Wilson and Ryan Dickinson at center. And Ryan's done a nice job with the shotgun snaps tonight, plus, with his blocking. So the freshman, it's outstanding to start at this level, but those 3 seniors are the bedrock of the offense.
Here's a long bomb. Andrew Griffin has it into the end zone. Touchdown. That's not Andrew Griffin. Excuse me, Harrison Weber. Harrison Weber on a fly route down the far side. It's 5, not 15. But that is exactly what they were looking for. They got one-on-one coverage on the far side down the sideline. Harrison Weber outran the defender, and Brandon Peters laid it in as beautifully as you could for a 49-yard touchdown pass.
Well, that's another one of those things. I mean, obviously Andrew and Matt have proven they can play. Harrison, again, was a part of this group as an 8th grader, or a 7th and 8th grader, and then hasn't really played football here for a couple of years. So he's just getting back in the groove. So good play call again. I mean, the pass, say what you want, is, on the numbers, but that's a big play for Harrison and for their offense because they're spread.
With 2:06 left to go, third quarter, the Orioles lead 35-0. Back with a kick in a moment. This is Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com.
Reynolds Body Shop is a proud sponsor of Avon football broadcast. They are conveniently located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. Their phone is 317-243-2372, and they are open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, specializing in collision repair. Reynolds Body Shop is also an insurance work specialist. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com.
A 49-yard touchdown pass. Brandon Peters to Harrison Weber. The San Perino point after is good, and with 2 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter, the 6th-ranked Avon Orioles all over the Plainfield Quakers by the score of 35-0. Perino will run up, put a foot into it,
This one will be fielded at about the 6, up to the 10, 15, to the 20, to the 25, and finally brought down at around the 27-yard line before whistles finally stop. Looked like Dawson Anderson with the return, and the Quakers really haven't had a whole lot to get excited about tonight, neither offensively or defensively. They'll set back up on offense at about their own 20, just shy of the 29-yard line, 1st and 10. A minute 59 remains in the third quarter. And Niswander will have 3 wideouts lined up to the near side and 1 to the far side as they begin this drive. They'll give it to the left side, and coming around again on that jet sweep is Dawson Anderson with the carry. And he will get very, very little on that play. Maybe a yard, maybe 2 at the most, up to about the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8. It's been a beautiful night for football here in Central Indiana. Good crowd on hand on both sidelines. The Avon faithful, of course, out in force, and the Red Pride from Plainfield across the way, all decked out in red. They'll bring a man in motion, will the Quakers. And this is going to be a handoff. Jacob Maple with the ball, and he's going to find little to no running room over that left-hand side before he's brought down. A.J. Elcott, Gunnar Lawson, maybe a couple of others in there on the tackle. And Maple will gain no yardage on that play. It'll bring up 3rd and long. We're under a minute left to play in the third quarter here at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. Game night in Hendricks County, our first broadcast of the season on ASO and XRBradio.com. We are going to have about 5 Avon Oriole games this season on XRBradio.com. We hope that you will join us for some really exciting football this season. Niswander with a little play action, and that's probably one that needs to be taken out of the playbook. Niswander tried to pull a little fancy reverse spin and hand it off to Maple. The only problem was there were 4 Avon Orioles waiting for Maple when he got the football.
It's hard to do that kind of movement in the backfield when your offensive line is probably one of your biggest weaknesses. You know, you're going to have pressure right up the middle before you even decide what you're actually doing with it.
So 3 plays, and Hagee is back out to punt once again as Peterson and DePriest line up back there. They will get this ball away, and Peterson will just simply take it at the 47-yard line. We'll keep it right here as we have 6.9 seconds remaining in this third quarter of play, with the 6th-ranked Orioles leading Plainfield 35-0. Of course, Avon Oriole fans, make sure you tune in next week. Coach Shelbourne and I, we will be at Ben Davis High School, in what is probably going to turn into one of those big matchups of the season period, as it will be Ben Davis and Avon at Ben Davis. We'll have the pregame at 6:30 and the kickoff at 7 o'clock. That game will be on Audio Sports Online.
Yeah, I'm sure Avon's not going to have any trouble getting up for that game.
All starters still in. Peters will give the ball. This is Love. Finds some room. Gets to the right side. Turns it up. And Darian Love will take it into Quaker territory inside the 45 down to the 44. Gain of 9 yards. And that is how the third quarter will come to a close. We've played 3 quarters of football at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. All Avon. They lead Plainfield 35-0. Back with the fourth quarter after this. This is game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBradio.com.
We'd like to thank the following sponsors that make it possible to bring you Plainfield Quaker football on Audio Sports Online. They are Fusion Alliance, Allegiant, and Plainfield Self-Storage. All proud sponsors of Red Pride football. For all of your pet care needs, visit the Animal Clinic of Plainfield at 2324 East Main Street right here in Plainfield, directly across from the Super Walmart Garden Center. Dr. Deckard and his team of dedicated doctors and staff know just how important your pets are to you, and they will work hard to keep them healthy and happy for years to come. For more information, visit their website at www.animalclinicofplainfield.com or call to set up an appointment at 839-8154, and be sure to like them on Facebook. Alongside J.P. Sinclair, the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelburne, I'm Brian Scott. It is game night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. So far, this game has just simply been all Avon. The 6th-ranked Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers by the score of 35-0. As meanwhile, we go and we take a look at what's happening in Brownsburg. They are having just an absolute shootout, and right now, the Pike Red Devils lead the Brownsburg Bulldogs by the score of 34-27. So that's a shootout taking place. We had another HCC score that Carmel was leading Hamilton Southeastern 14-0 at the half. And we will try to find out how Ben Davis is doing tonight. But right now, the Orioles have the football at the Quaker 44-yard line. It'll be second down and a short 2 yards to go as we switch ends to begin quarter number 4. Corey DePriest is the lone tailback. He is to the left of Brandon Peters, and he will get the football, and he'll find a hole to the 35, to the 30. Breaks one tackle, and he'll take it all the way down to the 25-yard line before he is wrangled down by Andrew Zoss, the free safety. But Corey DePriest turns on the afterburners and takes it all the way down to the Quaker 25-yard line.
Got a little juice, doesn't he? He hits that hole in a hurry, and when he gets into the secondary, he knows what to do. He's been very impressive tonight.
So 1st and 10 for the Avon Orioles at the Quaker 25-yard line. Chad Carmichael will go to the far side alongside Jordan Peterson as they send 3 wide outs to the far side. Low snap. They give it to DePriest, and he's not going to find a whole lot of room before Coy Anderson manages to make the stop. Ben Davis is leading Tech right now 35-0 in the second quarter. So it is right now Ben Davis having a very similar evening to how the Avon Orioles are having it with the Plainfield Quakers.
So we got a score here. Warren Central's 35, Center Grove 28.
That would be that's been a big game, the past few years, and Warren Central so far with the lead. Here the Orioles will have a second down in about 10. They'll stack receivers left and right. Peters gives it to DePriest, gets a nice block, takes it up the middle, shed off one tackler, and a nice block by Ben Wilson, the left guard, to kind of lead through the hole, get DePriest a few extra yards. DePriest shed a little bit of a tackle, and he'll gain about 4 or 5 to just inside the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
You know, as small as DePriest is at 5'6", 150 pounds, you wouldn't think he'd bounce off tacklers like he does, but, man, he kind of rolls his way around through there.
So to bring us 3rd down and about 4 for Avon.
If he's still listening down in Florida, I want to give a shout-out to Dave Ballou. Dave was a coach here and the strength coach, took a job down in Florida. He's the one that's helped develop these players. Did a great job in the weight room. Damian Smith has taken over for him, and things are moving forward. But, you know, Dave's one of those guys, the kids just loved him and respected him at the same time. Greatly missed around here. Everybody's happy that he's moving on and seems to be happy in his new situation, but he's definitely missed here at Avon.
Well, that penalty was a killer for Plainfield. It was 3rd and 4 for the Avon Orioles, but the Quakers line up off sides. That'll give the Orioles a 1st down. Heading into the lineup as a wide receiver is Connor McCandless, left side, and Peters.
The bobble snap.
Get a bit of a bobble snap, and he will go down for a little bit of a loss, and he's going to head over to the sideline to get the next play.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sure Coach Blass and Coach Moore down there, you know, the game is not in doubt. Avon's going to win the game unless there's a real miracle here. But, you know, you don't want to lose your momentum. You know, they want to keep getting after it a little bit. They want to execute. They are starting to get some other kids in the game, which I think is always a good idea. But they still want to come out here and execute, handle things up front, and see if they can put the ball in the end zone for one more touchdown.
There is a whole host of new wide receivers out there, but it's the same man at quarterback, Brandon Peters. DePriest to his right. DePriest will get the carry. He'll go left side, breaks a tackle, turns around the outside, and he will run it in from about 21 yards out for the touchdown. Corey DePriest.
You want to talk about afterburners, man. DePriest, once he hit the outside and curved it around, he was gone. Like, that was that. He's a speedster, man.
Well, it's one of those games when you take a look at the depth chart to begin this game. We saw Darian Love and Corey DePriest, and Corey's trying to make a real strong statement that he wants to be in there to begin that game next week at Ben Davis, and he's had a couple of very nice runs, and, of course, that great run off the screen pass earlier in the game for the touchdown. DePriest's second touchdown. Perino's point after, however, is blocked, and that's going to be about the only blemish on Perino's night so far is the block extra point. But with 9:01 left to go in the game, the Orioles lead the Quakers 41-0. Back with a kick after this. This is Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. Here's a message from Tim Grandstaff of Allstate Insurance in Plainfield. As a personal financial representative in Plainfield, I know many local families. My knowledge and understanding of the people in this community help me provide customers with an outstanding level of service. I look forward to helping families like yours protect the things that are important, your family, home, car, and more. I can also help you prepare a strategy to achieve your financial goals. That's Allstate Insurance in Plainfield at 1911 Crown Plaza Boulevard. Give them a call at 317-839-1500. 9:01 remains in this football game. It's a game that has been dominated by Avon from pretty much the start of this football game. The 6th-ranked Orioles lead the Plainfield Quakers 41-0. Corey DePriest with a 21-yard touchdown run over the left side. Sam Perino's point after was blocked, but Orioles still have the 41-0 lead. Perino will kick this ball off, and he will send it. This is a short kick that will be taken at about the 13-yard line. This is Jacob Maple with the football. Makes a cut, goes right side, and he'll finally be swarmed under at around the 25-yard line. And that is where the Quakers will set up shop to begin this drive. Plainfield will be at home next week as J.P. Sinclair will have the call of that contest. As Quakers will have Terre Haute North coming into Red Pride Stadium. They'll spot the ball at the 26-yard line, and that is where Nice Wander and the Quaker offense will set up shop. 3 wide outs, 2 to the near side. And Nice Wander on the option, pitches it out right side. This is Maple, I believe, Dylan Foster, the ball carrier. He kicks it around the right side. And that's the first time we've seen the option run tonight. And it's a pickup of about 9 yards.
At this point, if you're Plainfield, you're trying to see what else you can possibly do, especially against even a good defense in Avon. Try and see what else you can get going and, possibly put in the playbook for next week.
It is enough for a first down as Foster on the option takes it up to about the 37-yard line, 1st and 10. Coming up near side on the jet sweep. Nothing do it this time as coming around with the ball carrier was Jacob Maple.
Loss of a yard on the play.
It's a loss of about a yard. That'll bring up 2nd down and about 11 as the ball will spot back to near the 35-yard line. Clock moves. 7:51 remaining in this football game. It has been all Avon. And the Quakers now will set up in an I backfield as Nice Wander will bend under center on this 2nd and 12. He'll drop back to pass. He'll lay it up, looking down the far sideline, and the pass is caught, but it is well out of bounds.
Pass incomplete. Center for number 14, Keys.
He was looking for Dante Keys. He had Chad Carmichael in coverage. Keys made the catch, but he was out of bounds, and he gets up a little bit slowly.
Yeah, it would be a small victory, but I'm sure right now Plainfield would just like to get on the board. You know, they've been good in spots tonight, obviously dominated most of the night by the Avon defense. But, you know, if they can get a score, move forward, at least finish up the 4th quarter with a little momentum, then that'll carry them on into next week. If they get shut out, it'll be a little tougher.
There's Maple, but he's not going to get much of anything on that play. He'll get maybe a yard or two, and we'll have a penalty flag thrown late, well back in the Oriole secondary.
If that's on Avon, that's not a good call.
dead ball foul, personal foul against Avon, and they saw the same thing Coach and I saw. We saw a Plainfield defender kind of whip himself down onto the turf. And
well, the Plainfield guy was blocking him after the whistle, which is why the Avon kid threw him down. But, you know, as it always is, you know, the refs see the second guy. As much as we try to help them from the sidelines.
So the penalty will put the ball into Oriole territory at about the 48-yard line. 1st and 10, Plainfield. Clock moves, 7:19 remains in this football game. All Avon, 41-0, as the Quakers send wide receivers to the near side and the far side, 2 each. Gavin Ritter is near side. They'll bring a man in motion, but they give us to Dylan Foster, and Foster will find a little bit of room, but not a whole lot before he is brought down. As
45,
Zach Batustek in as the middle linebacker makes the stop for the Avon Orioles after a gain of only about a yard down to about the 47-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
I mean, this is a Plainfield team that wants to run the ball, but when you're in, your offensive line is probably one of your biggest weaknesses. You got to find a way to either get the ball quickly out or to mix and match something different, because they're obviously not getting the push that they need.
3 wideouts will come to the near side for the Quakers as Nicewander looks over the 3-man front, drops back to pass, fires a fade route, looking down the field, pass is incomplete. He had over here on the near side Scott Campbell in coverage of Dante Keys, and that pass thrown to the inside as Campbell stride for stride with Dante Keys, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, it was good coverage, but I mean, that's kind of what you want to see. You had one-on-one coverage, and you gave your receiver an opportunity to go get the ball. It could have been thrown a little bit better from Nicewander, but you know, it's something that you would, if you're a Plainfield person, you kind of want to see them try and do a little bit more.
Well, the Quakers will now have 3rd down and long as the ball remains at the Oriole 47-yard line. 6:17 remains in this football game. Avon up 41-0. Nicewander back to pass. Pressure comes, and Nicewander's going to go down. As got rushed from both ends, and eventually coming in to make the tackle is the 6'1", 210-pound senior Jacob Otto. And it'll bring up 4th and long after a loss of 3, pushes the Quakers back into their own territory just inside the 50-yard line. It'll be 4th down at about 13. And once again, John Hagee on to punt.
Yeah, it was a good job by 210-pound 6'1" Jake Otto getting in there and getting Nicewander down. It was great pressure from this Avon defensive line, who hasn't given up all night.
DePriest and Peterson back deep. Hagee gets this one away. Nice high kick. They'll call fair catch will Peterson, and he will take the football at about the 23-yard line. And the Orioles will set up shop with 5:33 left to go in this football game. All Avon 41-0. And as we take a look at who's going to be coming out, it will likely be Cameron Misner that's going to take over for Brandon Peters. Misner, a 6'1", 185-pound sophomore, will get some action here to wrap up this 4th quarter of play. I saw Misner last year in one of the freshman games have a very, very nice game against, I believe it was Zionsville that night. Misner with a handoff as they'll take it right up the middle. There's a whole host of defensive substitutions right now for the Avon Orioles. As the gain is about 3 up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. They'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Clock continue to moving. 5:10 remaining in this contest. The Orioles will start off the season with a very impressive win, and they will move on to their first road contest next week at Ben Davis. Misner will hand the ball off. Here's the run to left side and taken up beyond the 32, about the 31 to the 32-yard line. As
Avon fans now in it. Left guard.
This is always one of the good times as a head coach, because you've got kids that come to practice every day and work like crazy. Nobody knows it except for them and their parents and the coaches. But, you know, in a game like this, you get an opportunity to give them a little reward. They get a chance to come out here and play under the lights. And, you know, it's just these couple of minutes here at the end of a game that make all those summer workouts worthwhile and running a scout team sometimes. So it's a great opportunity. This is what high school athletics should be about.
Here's the give right up the gut, and getting stopped right there is, again, we're having some trouble just even reading who the players are from here, but a whole host of substitutions right now. It's a loss of maybe about a yard on the play to bring up 4th down. And
piggybacking on what Coach said, these are the guys that also push those number 1 players like Brandon Peters to become better. You got them on the depth chart for a reason, but they're the ones that are pushing your top guys to be even better than what they could,
Well, they give the same kind of effort in practice. The expectation is the same. They still have to go to the weight room. They still have to show up for workouts. So it's, again, it always made me feel good as a coach when you could take some of these kids and give them the opportunity to get out there. And, when they get to be 40, they'll have some stories to tell.
Timeout called as the play clock was winding down. 3:26 left to go in the game. 41-0 Avon. Back after this. This is Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com.
If you're a business owner, with or without employees, you're probably wondering about your payroll. Is it being prepared correctly? Are the right amount of taxes being taken out? What about child support, workman's comp, auditing, unemployment, Social Security, local taxes, payroll deductions? It can be a bit overwhelming, but we've got the answer for you. The Payroll Department Incorporated. We'll take care of all those payroll headaches and manage any unique deductions that apply to your company. We offer several ways to submit your payroll and provide you with customized timesheets for reporting. The Payroll Department Incorporated, located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg.
Back at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, game night in Hendricks County, all Avon in the season opener here at Avon High School as the Orioles, ranked 6th in 6A, lead the Plainfield Quakers 41-0. At a score out of Tri-West, the defending 3A state champion Tri-West Bruins trail West Lafayette 29-9. And the ball is muffed, and it's loose, and it looks like Avon has recovered. Punt was muffed. And still no official word. Avon says they have the ball, but the officials will sort it out, and when all is said and done, it looks like coming away was Matt Moore. Matt Moore gets the fumble recovery. He comes away with it, and the Orioles will have the ball 1st and 10 at the Quaker 34-yard line.
Speaking of the season Tri-West had last year, a lot of that credit goes to Jake Hendricks. Was a terrific quarterback last year for the Bruins. Hopefully they can continue that success, but it'll be hard when you lose a good player that caliber to graduation.
Well, Cameron Misner will bring the offense back out onto the field after the Orioles recover the muff fumble. Here is the give, going around the left-hand side and making a nice cut. Cutting it up the middle is Alec Burcham. Burcham is a 5'8", 165-pound junior.
Another one of my former 7th graders, had him at North. Good kid.
And we have to, of course, make note now, Coach Shelbourne back coaching again. Now he's got a whole bunch of 8th graders that he's just waiting for them to show up here next year.
It's like a disease. I can't get away from it. But coaching in middle school does give me a lot more free time to chase my 4 grandkids.
And they're probably a little tougher on the knees. Here's a run to the right side. It's Burcham again. He'll take it down to near about the 25-yard line. And that'll be about a yard shy of the 1st down marker. That'll bring up 3rd down in about 1. So a very, very impressive start to the 2015 season for the Avon Orioles. If you're Brandon Peters in the offense, you first half really couldn't have been any better. 4 drives, 4 scores. Did a few different things here in the second half. Still put 2 more touchdowns on the board, including a 49-yard bomb to Harrison Weber. And right now, 3rd down and 1 as the give is to Burcham. He will take it right up the middle. He'll get the 1st down, move the chains, and a new set of downs, and that should be just enough to put this one on ice with 1:48 left to go in this football game. Plainfield with all 3 timeouts. I cannot imagine Brian Woodard in any stretch trying to use his timeouts here
as Misner brings the offense back out out of the huddle, and the clock winds to 1:35, and he's just going to sit there and watch the play clock tick down as it gets closer to under 5 seconds. They'll snap the ball. Here's the give, left side, making a nice run, getting around the corner, and taking it up for a very, very nice run was Javen Carter, a 5'10", 160-pound sophomore.
He's got a little speed. He got to the outside there with a little quickness.
Penalty flag, though, on the backside, and a holding penalty. For the first game of the season, this has been surprisingly penalty-free, and really we just saw the first turnover on the muff punt. So both teams have played a relatively clean game, as that holding penalty will bring the football all the way back to around the 26-yard line, and it will set up first down and about 13, 14 yards to go, as they will wind the clock, and it moves with under a minute 18 left to go in this football game. Misner, he has Carter to his left. He'll just let that play clock wind on down, and with 5 seconds on the play clock, he calls for the snap, gives it to Carter. Carter looks for some room around the near side, turns the corner, takes it inside the 25 down to about the 23-yard line before he is pushed out of bounds by Gavin Jacobs, a 6 foot, 170-pound sophomore cornerback for the Plainfield Quakers. It's going to be a pickup of about 5-6 yards, and they'll spot the football at the 20-yard line. 53.9 seconds remain in this contest. A very, very happy Oriole crowd.
Nice block on the outside on that last play. Get some props in here for Connor McCandless. Good block, senior wide receiver, giving everything he's got out here, even in the final seconds.
And this time, Misner's just going to take a knee, and we will send this game one more. Has to down it one more time, and that will be it. So the Avon Orioles will start off 1-0 on the season, an impressive win here at home against Plainfield, and they will move on to play what will likely be the number one team in the state of Indiana in Class 6A next Friday. They will have to do it on the road as Avon travels to take on the Giants of Ben Davis. Meisner takes a knee, and that's going to do it. Final score when the clocks reach 0 here at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. The Avon Orioles, the 6th-ranked team in Class 6A, defeat the Plainfield Quakers by the score of 41-0. We'll come back with some final thoughts after this. You are listening to Game Night in Hendricks County on ASO and XRBRadio.com. Impact Insurance Restoration is your hometown restoration company for all of your fire, flood, wind, and hail damage needs. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're located at 2340 East Perry Road in Plainfield and can be reached at 268-6375.
Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg has something for everybody, and you don't even have to leave home. Call 286-3500 for free delivery to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Specialty pizzas, calzones, breadsticks, and cheese bread, all made in-house with Panuni's own hand-tossed dough. Not to mention Panuni's jumbo wings. Just tell them you heard about it from XRB and get 10% off of your order. Check out their Facebook page for specials. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday until 11 p.m. Locally owned Panuni's Pizza and Wings on 1447 East Main Street in Brownsburg.
Come visit Blue River Pharmacy, the local independent pharmacy in Hendricks County. When you choose Blue River Pharmacy as your partner in health and wellness, you will enjoy all of the traditional services of a chain pharmacy, plus so much more. Blue River Pharmacy takes time to truly care for and listen to learn our patients' needs. We accept most insurance plans and offer competitive pricing. Whether you need a prescription filled quickly, medical equipment, unique over-the-counter items, or medication management options, Blue River Pharmacy is your local friendly choice. And we offer free delivery. Stop by our Brownsburg location at 680 East 56th Street in the shops at Brownsburg today and choose Blue River Pharmacy.
Back at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, game night in Hendricks County. I'm Brian Scott, and I'm joined by J.P. Sinclair.
and the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. An impressive start to the 2015 season by the 6th-ranked Avon Orioles. They defeat Plainfield by the score of 41-0. This one really wasn't even close. Avon scored on their first possession of the game on a 19-yard touchdown pass from Brandon Peters to Andrew Griffin, and the route was essentially on at that point. When all was said and done, when Brandon Peters finished the night, he finished it with 5 touchdown passes, the lone rushing touchdown run, a 21-yard Corey DePriest touchdown in the fourth quarter to end the scoring for the Avon Orioles. And it just simply was too much Brandon Peters in the Oriole offense, and there really wasn't a whole lot Plainfield could do with it on this night. So the Quakers go to 0-1 on the season. They will play Terre Haute North at home next week. And, JP, you're going to have the call of that game. I'm sure there's Coach Brian Woodard. He's going to be looking at a lot of things this week, and just hoping that maybe a little home cooking changes up the offense a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Griffin had a great game with the 4 touchdowns, and Harrison Weber with the 1. I mean, that was just a spectacular offensive showing from Avon. For Plainfield, obviously they have a lot of work to do going forward. I saw some positives here and there. You know, you saw the Bryce Biddle sack of Brandon Peters, Alec Wall with the PAT block, Coy Anderson getting his hands up and blocking down a pass. You know, there are some positives, but bottom line, if Plainfield wants to go anywhere this year, they got to do something offensively to become more dynamic. Right now, it's a very stagnant offense. You know, they don't really change up anything with the way that they run. It's pretty much the same thing, and they got to be able to get the ball down the field somehow.
So the Quakers will drop to 0-1 to begin the season. They will open up at home, as I said, next week against Terre Haute North. It's a game you can watch on Audio Sports Online. J.P. Sinclair will have the call of that game. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock. I now bring in the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. Coach, every coach will say we can always find things to find things that you want to nitpick over, things you want to work out. But to begin a season, you really can't fault a whole lot of what the Orioles offense was able to do, especially in that first half.
Well, they did what they had to do. They wanted to come out and execute, and, you know, I mean, I'm out of it now, and obviously I'm biased with Avon, but, I mean, to me, this is a total talent mismatch. I mean, we have more big-time players than Plainfield, so, you know, you expected us to come out and be able to do some of these things. You know, we're sitting up here and talking, you know, about all the things that we did on offense, but, you know, this defense got a shutout. You know, they got some big-time players. Matt Thompson played well. The front just dominated things up front, and, you know, it made things a little easier for our secondary to cover. But I think Avon did exactly what they wanted to do. They came out and executed. And I think they probably came in. You always have to prepare for an opponent. But I think they came into this game really just looking to execute and do the things that they want to do, and again, hopefully come out injury-free, which it appears that they did. So, you know, they did what they wanted to do. They executed. They threw the ball. They ran the ball fairly well. You know, that'll be one of the things that I think will be tested a little bit more next week when they line up against Ben Davis. And, you know, and I think the athletes will match up a little bit better, but you know, they executed, they mixed things up, they ran, they threw defensively. You know, the pressure that they put on Plainfield the entire night was good, and you know, if they gave up a play or two or a first down or two, that was all right. They didn't give up any big plays. So
and they did a good job in the field position battle as well.
Well, again, they fundamentally did the things they needed to do, and not that you don't prepare for a team, but you know, I think as a coach, you want your kids to line up in the right spots. You want them to run to the right spots. You want them to make tackles when they have that opportunity. You don't want any assignment errors. And you know, from what we could see up here, I mean, I think they executed in just about every phase of the game pretty darn well. You know, when we're getting picky talking about a missed extra point, you know, then I think that tells you that the execution was good. So I think overall they're very happy, but I also know from Coach Bless's point of view and the coaching staff, they'll speed through this video tomorrow because they know they've got a lot of preparation to do to get ready for Ben Davis. They know the style. You know, we've been playing Ben Davis here now for quite a few years. So, you know, they understand the philosophy that, you know, that they're going to bring to the table next week. It's also a game that, you know, Avon knows if they can go over to Ben Davis and beat them on their own field, and you really, really make a statement statewide that you've arrived. So, that's going to be a feature game probably in the state of Indiana next week. And the way Avon played tonight, I think it's going to be a great contest. I haven't heard the Ben Davis score yet, so I don't know.
But last we had heard, they were really handling it to Tech. And I think it's kind of interesting. We watched Coach Bless. I think we all felt Avon really was never challenged in this game, but yet well into the fourth quarter, the number one offense was still out there. He was still getting reps that you really can't even. We were here for this. I was here for the scrimmage last week. You really can't get that kind of play even in a scrimmage, but he was here and they were still running things late into this game, getting ready, I think, for next week and really trying to fine tune some of those.
Well, and you're prepping your inexperienced kids, the stars get all the props, but you got two freshmen out there, and yes, they're very talented kids, but they're freshmen. And, they're going to have their hands full next week with Ben Davis. So, the reps they can get, they need to get. Harrison Weber is a quality athlete, but he hasn't played football here in, I think, 3 years. So to get him a big-time touchdown pass like that, he ran by the guy, he made the catch. His confidence level going into next week, because next week he's going to have his hands full. Because, that DB that he's lining up with next week is going to have a little quickness. So this will put him into that game with a lot more confidence. Having DePriest run like he did, we know Darian can run because, he had the good year. He had the good year last year. So they're going to have to mix things up next week. They've got the skills. Matt Moore is just a total mismatch for anybody that on any schedule at any level. He can do some things that most tight ends can't do. But, again, the most impressive thing to me tonight was the defense. I thought the defense came to play. They got a lot of kids in up front. The linebackers ran to the football very well, and the secondary didn't give up any big plays. So I'd say overall it was a very pleasant night for a head coach, and you want to enjoy these because most nights it's a headache.
Well, they will enjoy this one for the short term because, as Coach Shelbourne said, Coach Bless and that coaching staff, they will be in bright and early tomorrow morning getting ready for the number one team in Class 6A in the state of Indiana, the defending state champion Ben Davis Giants. And we'll have that game for you. It will be on Audio Sports Online. Coach Shelbourne and I will take the air at 6:30 with a pregame show. You can hear the Mark Bless coaches show at that time. And then kickoff between the Orioles and the Giants is set for 7 o'clock. Game night in Hendricks County has been brought to you on Audio Sports Online and xrbradio.com by our fine sponsors, Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Florist, Red Cobra Wrestling, Citywide Paving, Changes Home Care, Avon Dental Care, West Side Plumbing, Blue River Pharmacy, Ivy Tech, Northfield Storage and U-Haul, Panuni's Pizza and Wings, the Payroll Department, Wicker Construction, Impact Insurance Restoration, Plainfield Animal Clinic, Beefcake Burgers, Allstate Insurance Agent Tim Grandstaff, Fusion Alliance, Allegiant, and Plainfield Self Storage. Game night in Hendricks County is an AudioSportsOnline.com production.